Dovey, stoked for this one?
I'm like particularly excited for the relationship aspect of this podcast.
Oh, let's go.
Help me welcome the man dripping in too much sauce, the sauce man, Adam Sosnick.
I'm Adam Sosnick. You can call me Soz, and I talk money. No matter what shoes you're wearing, I've been in them. I started from the bottom, going from job to job, crashing on friends' couches to becoming a millionaire.
What else does life have in store for me? And it all started one day with a phone call.
You're Jewish.
Yes. This guy's been hitting me up. When are you coming to New York? What's going on? What's going on? I'm like, yeah, I'm coming to New York. I think it was like on Yom Kippur or some shit. He's like, I can't do a fucking podcast on Yom Kippur. I'm like, that's not millions of people. This is why I said that you're intellectually dishonest. You're intellectually lazy.
I'm a Jew, newfound Muslim. We're all hanging out here. Yeah.
I doubt that any of the older women or the older men would try to be canceling Tate to be like, I judge life in what I call the big three pillars of life: health, wealth, and happiness. So you're a good looking dude. Just go hit the gym, go make some fucking money, and talk to me in 5 years.
All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Mislaibeled. We are here in Miami Beach, Florida. We have a very, very special guest. Before we get to him, if you are watching this, if you can please like, subscribe, and comment, it would mean the world. We're working very hard. We're actually on the road traveling guest to guest to guest because we're very serious about this.
Very
podcast.
serious.
You can see, clearly.
Legit.
Dovey, stoked for this one?
Yeah, as I've told you many times, I'm like particularly excited for the relationship aspect of this podcast.
Oh, let's go.
Because you speak a lot about relationships, but let's ease into it so we could.
I do need some background. There's thousands and thousands of hours of you online. That goes without, that's obvious. Host of the PBD show, first of all, Patrick Bet-David show. Adam hosts that. I want to get into how you obviously got there in a second, but you also have your own podcast called Soscast. What's your line? You have a great line.
Where finance meets romance.
Getting paid laid.
Oh, getting paid, getting laid, to do it your way. We got a couple little
I love it.
themes going on over there, but yeah.
Those are your trademarks, right?
We're going to get this guy laid as much as he wants. If I go out, I bring this guy out with me in Miami Beach. He's never going back to New York.
It's not a joke.
By the way, if you take me out, there's a good chance I never make it back to New York.
It's not even a joke.
You don't even know how true what you said was.
How old are you?
I'm 27.
27. And you're how old?
29.
29. When are you going to be 30?
Yeah, I'm turning 30 in 3 months.
Okay.
What was that? How old are you, by the way? You're
43.
You're 43. What were the big numbers for you? 30 and 40?
The big number was 40.
Yeah.
30 ain't shit. 30 is nothing. You're still young. I don't want to hear it. 40, I was going through some shit when I hit 40. I turned 40 during COVID. I had just gotten out of a relationship. My dad just died. My girl had cancer. I was like, oh my God, I'm turning 40. It was like the most cathartic, chaotic, ridiculous year of my life. But now I've realized that, I used to always hear these black girls that I went to middle school with, they would always try to hit on the older guys in high school. I don't know. We went to a school where the middle school was in the high school, which is probably quite problematic. And I remember one of the black girls was like, AJ, nothing but a number. And I was like, what does she mean by all that, right? And I was like, nah, I get it. It's just a number, bro.
You actually changed my perspective on this a lot. Because, in our world a little bit, 27's old, not to have your shit together, not to be married, not to have kids.
Is it in your world?
Yeah.
What's your world?
Orthodox.
Are you Orthodox?
You can't tell?
You're repping the Jewish flag on your head, and they bring the hostages back?
No, my dad's...
You're not wearing you're wearing a kippah? You got the knit kippah. It's different. The knit kippah is different from the other cloth kippah.
Velvet ones.
The velvet ones. I learned this recently.
Yeah.
There's kippah gangs.
Well, it can say
exactly.
It says a little bit about...
It's like Bloods and Crips, actually.
It's like knit versus cloth versus velvet.
You know your stuff.
Is this velvet?
I'm impressed.
I can dabble. So in anything, there's going wide and then going deep. I had to learn that. I've gone wide a lot. Money, business, relationships, sports, friends, clubs. But then it's about picking the 2 or 3 things you want to go deep on. Get deep on that, and then you can expand. So it's a gift and a curse to be able to go wide, but it's probably better to go deep. Yeah. It depends on the topic, though.
You're saying you're just referring to as far as jack of all trades, master of nothing concept?
Correct.
Yeah.
But
I related to that a lot when you spoke about it, because actually a lot of things you've done, I've done. I was in financial sales before. I'm a stand-up comedian now, and now I'm trying to get into podcasting. Yeah.
So you're doing stand-up now?
Yeah.
How's it going?
I'm working through the tier 2 clubs in New York right now.
Which clubs?
I don't know if you know the Broadway Comedy Club, West Side Comedy Club, Stand Up NY.
You're getting down to the Stand?
So the stand's
Gotham.
like I would say like there's like the Comedy Cellar, New York Comedy Club, and then like Gotham and the Stand are like there.
What about the Grizzly Pear? You're hitting the Grizzly Pear?
So Grizzly Pear just opened a new location. Actually,
I'm talking about the one right next to the Comedy Cellar. In
so the downtown location. So the bigger Grizzly Pear is in.
What is that considered downtown? Isn't it in
Yeah, I mean that's like West Village.
West Village, exactly.
Right. So that's further down than like the other OG Grizzly Pear.
You're gonna beat me in a New York geography like Q&A.
Well, you owned a comedy club.
In Miami, in South Beach, yeah.
You do right now. Hold on a second.
No, we did, and we closed right before COVID. Thank God.
Well, that was a helpful.
It was great. It worked out well.
Helpful timing. You're saying.
Yeah. Comedy
Yeah.
clubs became big money losers during COVID.
But Miami's a tough place to do comedy. When I opened the club, I'd always say, I go to New York, I'd go to LA, because I would travel before I joined Valuetainment. I'd be on the road every month for business, and then in the summer I'd take 3 months off. The girl I was dating was from London. We'd spend a month in Europe, and then I'd come back to the States. I'd do a month in New York. I loved it, and then I'd do a month in LA, and I would. I would do the whole
you were doing
comedy
the club circuit for a while.
And yeah, what I would say is when I did the clubs, I would say I go to New York. There's 100 comedy clubs in New York. Go to LA. There's 100 comedy clubs in New York. There's no freaking comedy clubs in Miami
What's
Beach.
the reason for that?
By the way,
There's just a
Miami
million things
Improv.
to do in Miami, and we got half the people here that don't speak English.
Yeah, it's a big
So like the Cuban comedians crush it here, right? The Puerto Ricans, the Dominicans, but there's also like just so many things to do in Miami Beach. A lot of the people aren't like, yo, let's go hear some jokes tonight. The improvs, I won South Florida's funniest comedian in 2005. But then the improv shut down, the improv in the Grove, and then I was at the Hard Rock. They closed down. Like, I don't know.
This is my favorite.
And also, when you make it in Florida, you become that guy. You go to New York. Like my younger brother, like my little brother is the guy he's the new cast member on SNL, Marcello Hernandez.
That's
you know
your
who that
younger
is?
brother?
It's like my little. Like I found him when he was
okay.
19.
He's
he worked for me
hilarious.
for a few years. He used to do comedy in my clubs, and then he worked for me at Valuetainment. And he's the best.
He's a
like
killer.
He's a
I've
killer.
heard his stand-up
I just
also.
partied with him 2 weeks ago when he was in town in Miami. He called me up. I was like, oh, what's up? We went down. But he called me up one day. It's actually a funny story with Marcello. He was writing for me. He was part-time. He also worked for Only in Dade, which is like a Instagram here thing in Miami. Only in Dade, whatever. It's kind of like World Star, that whole deal.
Yeah.
But for Miami.
Okay.
All right. Anyone that's in Miami knows Only in Dade. And I was flying with PBD to go interview Andrew Tate for the first time. This would have been in
This was right after he was
September of 22.
right.
Yeah. This is when he got canceled.
Right.
September of 22, because then we interviewed him. Was that? Check the fucking dates. I don't know. This was within about a year ago. And Marcello calls me, he goes, dude, I'm broke as shit. Are we doing it? Because he got paid every week when I did an episode. I said, there's no episode this week. I'm flying. Yeah, that's right. I was flying to Romania to go interview engineers. We did 2 interviews. This is why I'm getting confused.
I remember. One was
in
after
Madrid. One was when he got canceled, and then one was when he got out of jail in Romania. I'm not clear on which one it was, but remember I was flying to go. I said, there's no episode this week, so I'll see you in a week. He's like, hurry back. I'm broke. I need to make money. I said, I'll see you in a week. We'll do our episodes like we do every week.
This is
Every
Marcello?
week he got paid. Marcello.
Okay.
So I get back and he says, he calls me and he goes, hey, I got good news and bad news. And what do I say? Give me the bad news first.
Obviously.
So give me the bad news. The bad news is I have to put in my resignation for working with you and PBD on Valuetainment. I said, okay, I know this job wasn't forever. You know, we got paid a little bit. It was like a part-time thing. I said, give me the good news. He says, the good news is you're now talking to the newest cast member of Saturday Night Live. I said, get the fuck out of here. This is amazing. Because
They're like, where's the bad news?
Exactly. Exactly. So,
By the way, that's a winner. A real trait of winners are people that are happy for other people that make it. You know
oh,
what I'm saying?
I cried. This is like my,
Yeah.
I wasn't
You
gonna be like,
also-
how could you leave me
You also
for
understand,
SNL, dude?
You understand like the grind of the comedy.
And I'm not gonna take credit for this kid's career, not even at all. It's him. It's all him. But I met him when he was 19, and he was trying to get in and perform at this club, And I was like, how old are you? What are you doing here? And he's like, well, who's asking? I'm like, relax, I'm not the feds. I own a comedy club. I'm just recruiting comedians. What's your deal? Blah, blah, blah. I saw him that night, crushed it. I said, let's do some stuff together. Once a month, he would come in, fill up the thing in Miami. And then the beautiful thing next to our club was called Ricky's. We have one of the best bars in Miami called Bodega right next to it. So we'd party, we'd do the comedy, and then we'd party at night. So
Bodega's like the underground one?
It's kind of like a back door, like
Okay, got it.
like a secret entrance, like speakeasy, Mexican taqueria, tequileria type of thing. But it's like the #1 bar in Miami. And so everyone would go to the comedy club and then go party afterwards, and we'd have a bunch of, names you would know, comedians. But Marcello, just something about the kid. So now he's crushing it on an SNL. Like,
amazing.
I went to visit him in New York. And I'm sitting there having dinner with him, Colin Jost, the cast is coming up. It was the one where Anna de Armas was the host, and she had just broken up with Ben Affleck and Scarlett Johansson, like, it was just like, this is your fucking world now. And I said to him when we went out 2 weeks ago, because he was supposed to come down here to do some comedy thing that got canceled. He's like, my thing got canceled, let's go out. So we went to this club in Miami. It's like a Sunday night thing, which I never go out on Sunday nights ever. But it was my birthday weekend, February 4th.
You get a pass for that.
I get a pass for that, thank you. And I said, come join me, whatever. He goes, can I bring my manager, my agent? I said, of course, whatever. I said, Marcello, it was just like, imagine there's fucking chaos going on in the club, and it's just kind of like big bro and little bro having a moment. I said, you know what's crazy, bro? I said, you just flew in this morning. Last night was Saturday night. I said, who was the performer that performed last night?
Right.
The music, like not the host, the musical guest. There's the host and there's musical. The musical guest, he goes, oh, it was J-Lo. I said, I know. I go, do you remember the last segment that we ever did together? He goes, it was breaking down J-Lo's wealth. Like, we did a whole money celebrity segment that he helped me write and curate. And I go, isn't it fucking crazy that 2 years ago, you're writing for me, we're toiling away. You'd already been doing stand-up and working for 4 or 5 years at this point. We're writing segments about how J-Lo made her money, and now you're literally in a cast with her.
In fairness, I can say the same thing about myself sitting here with you. I'm not fucking kidding you. I started this fucking
thing. Me and J-Lo, same thing.
But I'm making that ascent. Yeah. I'm saying that 14 months ago, I started this thing, all right? Yeah. I didn't have anything. I'm not priorly famous. I got shit. There's no media-based, I did well in real estate, thank God, and very blessed for that. But as far as, like, ability to, like, I'm not a billionaire by any stretch, and, like, ability to, like, sit with famous people, like, I don't know who the hell I am,
you're relentless, dude.
I am relentless.
You are relentless and resilient.
Yes.
And you understand relationships and how to push without being pushy.
I appreciate
These are
that.
3 words, 3 R words that I abide by, right? Relentless, resilience, and relationships. And you got to have that balance right there. So you do a good job. This guy's been hitting me up for, when are you coming to New York? What's going on? They're like, I'm like, yeah, I'm coming to New York, but I was going to see Marcello. I think it was like on Yom Kippur or some shit. He's like, I can't do a fucking podcast on Yom Kippur. I'm like, I don't know.
Wait, but that's not fair, because you sat out football practice on Yom Kippur.
That's true. You know that story. That's true.
He does his research.
That's when I was a law-abiding citizen.
Hold on 1 second. We got to go backwards a little bit.
Go.
To say
we got to go wide then deep.
All I was just saying was that, yes, for me, this means a lot. Like, I've worked at this. We've been talking about this for close to 10 months. So, and we've sat with other famous people as well.
You've done a great job of getting people on your podcast.
Yeah, I'm still trying
I've seen like some of the guys that you've interviewed. They've been on my show and PBD podcast. Obviously, Emily, Mark Norman. What a hilarious guy, right?
He's great.
I just, Alan Dershowitz, I just listened to him speak last night here in the temple. So you had him.
Yes.
You had Scaramucci.
Yeah,
you've got Gary Vee. You've got some.
Yes.
You had Laura Trump on.
Yes.
You had some guests.
Yeah. He actually shares something very, like, with Patrick Ben-David in a way.
What's that?
I tell people that he is applying, like, the disciplines of a real estate broker to the podcasting world in terms of getting guests, which is a little bit, I guess, Patrick was in sales and life insurance sales, and then, like, applies that same hustle to an entertainment space, which is kind of like a new way of approaching it.
What's that, Dobby?
What do you mean?
What's the real estate example?
Meaning like there are people like the people that become comedians and actors generally aren't like the buckle down and be able to make 1,000 calls a day and like the cold call hustle.
They're not very disciplined.
Right. So there's that split between the people in entertainment and the people in the hustle world, let's say, right? So when someone takes that hustle from like the private sector of, let's say, mortgage sales or life insurance sales, and then applies that to podcasting, it's a very interesting result. We have 15,000 followers, not a huge podcast, but we get guests well beyond what
You're punching above your weight.
way. I mean, I'm not. He is.
I always marry up. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way.
Are you married?
I'm joking. No,
Oh,
I'm
gotcha.
not saying marry up.
That's hypergamy right there. Dating up.
I meant dating up. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
No, I'm messing. But listen. It's been a wild ride. Thank God, it's been great. I'm excited about it. We have some great people coming up also. So I'm very, very excited. All right, everybody. Just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor for this episode, CubX. CubX is an IT company that personally does my own IT. I've recommended these guys to multiple of my friends. They have come back with nothing but rave reviews. These guys have fantastic customer service. There are no hold times. You call, you get through, they fix your problem immediately, and they are truly a group of talented IT professionals. They service specifically companies of 5 employees or more. They have a special division for companies with 500 employees or more, and a additional division specifically dedicated to the healthcare field, which is an area that they particularly specialize in. If you'd like to get through to them, you can reach them at 732-444-8771. Press 2 to get through to the sales department. You can also email them at hello@cubx.com. That's hello@cubx.com. You can also check them up online at cubx.com. Again, that's cubx.com. If you're a new company that's starting out and need a great IT team, definitely reach out to these guys. Or if you're an existing company that is currently not happy with your existing IT firm, I would highly, highly recommend this group. Thank you so much, guys. Back to the episode. I want to go backwards because I think people have been watching for 20 minutes. I'm very, very curious. You're Jewish.
Yes.
I need to first of all understand where the hell you grew up, what your Jewish, like growing up, did you practice Judaism traditionally in any capacity? Zero? There are like so many questions surrounding your youth, if you could just share on that.
So yeah, I grew up here in North Miami Beach, which is, we're in Miami Beach. By the way, the house that, I don't know if they can tell by the set, one of the most ridiculous houses I've ever walked into Miami Beach. And I've been into a lot of houses, you know, party houses, flop houses, mansions, outhouses, in-houses, whatever you fucking did, you did something there, label. So, I mean, the wine cellar's a little empty, but like we won't talk about that. Like, can I get a glass of Manischewitz out here?
This is the vacation home of the person who owns this.
This is the vacation home.
clarify,
The real home is up the street. Okay.
They own in the city of New York. That's their main residence. They come here for holidays.
It's a Passover house.
They have a few. They do okay.
Yeah, I would say so. This place is probably worth $20 million.
Yes.
I'm guessing.
Indeed.
But, you know,
No,
I haven't
that was
Zillowed
actually
it yet.
extremely accurate.
So I grew up, you know, not far from here. Yeah, I mean, I just typical Miami Jewish normal upbringing, meaning like not Orthodox whatsoever, not like what's the far, like the liberal reform.
Right, not conservative.
Just like a normal, like we're gonna go to temple, you're gonna go to Hebrew school, you're gonna do whatever. But I wasn't like, I didn't go to Hebrew school. I always went to public school. So it was all just very normal. But also in Miami, you have to understand that like my best friend is black, a Haitian friend, a Jamaican friend, a Puerto Rican friend, a Cuban friend, a Jewish friend. Like it wasn't like I was just me and all my Jewish friends. It was just very melting pot, mix-ish.
You didn't go to Hebrew school growing up. You were in
I
public
did
school.
go to Hebrew school, but like after school, like so like when it was time to like learn your bar mitzvah, like
Got it.
you know,
Should
like
we practice?
yeah.
Baruch Hu es Hashem.
Oh my god, I can still read it. I can't.
The Adam Sandler clip
With that's what I was doing with David Stern.
with Howard Stern.
Howard Stern, sorry.
You ever saw that? It went viral. The Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler, Howard Stern.
He was on Howard Stern's show, and Howard Stern was like, Isn't that the craziest thing in the world? How like weird of a thing that is? Like, recite it with me right now, and they both go off and like do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I happen to know what it means. So
No, this is the one where you have to do the thing and the thing, you know.
He's got it. He's got it.
I'm like a creature of habit. Like, and once I get going, I'll get, oh, okay, I remember this one, but I don't really go that often. But so for me, it was just, standard bar mitzvah. But you have to understand, like, the bar mitzvah thing. Can we talk about the bar mitzvah thing?
Let's talk.
It's like, it's a rite of passage. You're going to be a man. I think we all acknowledge 13, you're not a man. We get it. But whatever, that's biblical. But the farce that's going on in bar mitzvahs, where it's like, it's a party, we're gonna have a
for
theme.
the parents at this point.
It's like, it's more the theme of it's sports, it's chicks, it's cars, it's like,
Hold on.
they have these themes.
Let me just clarify
Yeah.
one thing. Let me clarify one thing. There's many different worlds involved in Judaism. There's the Orthodox world specifically, which is where we come from. That could look extremely different from what you're referring to. So I didn't understand.
I'm talking
No,
mainstream.
you're talking about Adam Sandler. You're not invited to my bar mitzvah.
I'm talking mainstream,
But that has nothing to do with actual religion.
That's my point.
Yeah, but that's
What the hell does that you like Ferraris have to do with your bar mitzvah?
Zero.
And then the kid has a Ferrari themed bar mitzvah. And then the parents pay $100,000 for Ferraris for,
The bar mitzvah concept is that you're entering the Jewish covenant. You're becoming a man and entering that. I mean, and religious values are supposed to come along with that. And that's the
But
basic
that's
idea.
being lost in this bar mitzvah party culture.
Absolutely.
Right.
Is
No,
what I'm
he's
saying.
is the more religious, the more right wing or religious you get, the less the Ferraris get involved.
No
in it.
doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we
totally
have
understand.
very expensive alcohol. That's what we do.
Yeah, we have
very
tons.
Good. I've gone to some Orthodox parties. These guys party. The guys with the guys, the girls with the girls.
That's how we
I've
do.
done that. My aunt, my dad's sister is Orthodox.
Really?
She's raised her kids Orthodox. My cousins.
Are you serious?
I'm not sure if any of them are Orthodox now, but growing up they all were. One served in the IDF.
What's she? Now
She's still Orthodox, yes. Like we ate at a kosher restaurant out here.
Where?
She goes, what do you, Bal Harbor.
Which place on Surfside? You just say
Yes, Bal Harbor.
Tacos?
streets, backyard barbecue.
Pizza, Piccolo.
Oh,
We're gonna give the guy a plug now. Is that what we want
We
to
don't,
do right
we don't give
now?
away free plugs on this podcast. Sorry.
We have
Tell you the
too
name
many
of the
viewers right
pizza.
now. Saying our
How'd she
advertising.
become Orthodox? I'm so curious.
No, so she grew up in.
She's your dad's sister.
My dad's
Did
sister.
your dad grow up Orthodox?
My dad was not religious. My mom's dad was a kosher butcher. Like, there's always been ancillary stuff.
Interesting.
I was raised very sort of secular, and I went to college, and for the high holidays at Florida State, we'd do the thing, but it was never really my thing. But I played football my freshman year, and it was my first experience of what I would say was like anti-Semitism. And it wasn't like you've seen the movie School Ties
Yeah.
with Brendan Fraser.
School time, Matt Damon.
Oh, you have to see,
Isn't that
School
Matt
Ties.
Damon in the prep school?
Correct.
Yeah.
I think Matt Damon was in it. Yes, Matt Damon was in it.
Yeah.
You have to see it. You've never seen it?
I have not seen it yet.
Label. It's a must. As a Jewish athlete, you have to see this
I
movie.
do at a ball, just between me and you.
You can ball?
Yes.
Okay. You got a little height on you. You're probably like
Yeah,
6
I'm
foot. You're
6'1".
probably,
Well, it's all relative. We're talking. He lettered
Yeah.
in 2 sports, so.
What did you do? What was
It's
that?
true. So,
was
but
captain of football
my
now.
freshman year, I played football at this small school in North Carolina, in Greensboro, North Carolina. I get this football scholarship, and I was gonna maybe go Ivy League, but the thing with Ivy League is you have to pay. There's no scholarships. I didn't have family money. I got a football scholarship, a sports scholarship to one of the most elite high schools in Miami. Miami Country Day. There's country days around the country.
You could get scholarships for high school?
Yeah.
They give you like aid, and they're basically
It's
like,
big.
yeah, it's kind of
You
like,
get a job in the
yeah,
cafeteria
exactly,
and they
yeah,
pay you.
exactly. I had to clean the dishes, kind of a
I didn't
thing.
know that.
So
Okay.
Yeshiva University
So-
does the same thing for their basketball team.
My family couldn't afford a couple $1,000 a year, much less $50,000 a year in tuition, so we worked it out. But I go to this school, it was great, whatever. I go to play college football, and 2 stories that I would always be like, I always felt very uncomfortable by this. But I did stand-up comedy, so I would take a joke, but they always called me Brew, which was short for Hebrew. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm the only Jewish kid on the team. There was one other that was like half Jewish, half Italian, but he was kind of like, nah, I'm more Italian than Jewish. I was
Yeah,
like,
shied away from
can I get a little half-half? No, a little chetzi, nothing. So I remember on, like you brought the Yom Kippur story, because Yom Kippur is usually in September,
Yes.
October-ish.
Yeah, towards the end of September, beginning
Right,
of
so
October.
football season starts like in August, September, the college football season, probably like 4 weeks in, whatever it was. You know, I didn't get redshirted. I'm playing on the team. I'm a wide receiver. I'm doing fucking 2-a-day practices, getting my ass kicked in North Carolina. Why the hell am I in this school? You know, I'm from Miami. I'm in Greensboro, North Carolina. What am I doing out here? I don't know. You know, I'm like second guessing myself. And, but still, resilience, you know, going out there, practicing, doing my thing, get the shit kicked out of me in college football. But one day, you know, my mom's like, you know, tomorrow's Yom Kippur. I was like, oh shit, I totally forgot. She goes, do you have practice? I go, yeah, I practice every day, right? She goes, you can't practice
You want to do fast?
at Yom Kippur. I said,
You got away easy, bro.
I'm 18 years old. I said, okay, well, let me talk to the coach and see what he wants me to do. And she's like, okay, but like, don't,
You let him know.
like fast, like fast, you know, like.
Can your mom take the coach? Is that
My mom is not. No, my mom is like a nice, sweet
Okay.
Jewish like yenta mother, and like have you ever seen like Seinfeld, like Edith Costanza? She gives you those vibes.
Exactly.
No, you can't practice on Yom Kippur, you know.
Yeah.
So I go to the coach, and the coach is like, he coached in. This guy was a coach. He's probably like 75, 80 years old. He's been a coach his whole life. He's won every state championship in high school, and he's like the most highly decorated coach in all of North Carolina. And he's like, if you've ever seen the movie Varsity Blues, he's like
Okay, got
that guy that's been there forever,
So
and it's
funny.
like no nonsense.
He's regimented as
And he's
fuck.
just a fucking dick.
Yeah.
when you were
Right?
telling this story originally? I was actually thinking like, remember the tight end
Yeah.
Denzel Washington?
Yes.
Like when he made PD, like when he dropped the ball. he
Denzel
was the-
Washington would have been a walk in the park compared to this guy. Coach Kirby. And he's, you know, he had that southern twang, and he's like, all right. And I say, hey, coach, unfortunately, I can't practice today because it's Yom Kippur, right? He's like, a Yom what? I was like, oh, you've never even heard of Yom Kippur. Gotcha. So I'm Jewish.
Sandy Koufax.
Yeah, Sandy Koufax wouldn't pitch on Shabbos.
This is
We all,
more impressive than Sandy
Yeah.
Koufax, in my opinion.
so
Because Sandy Koufax is famous.
no, because he was. It's pitching's a rotation, right? He was pitching the next night. Wasn't sacrificing all that.
But
I'm
also
saying it
Sandy
was a very proud moment to be a Jew. But like this 18-year-old kid doesn't know his future. This might be his ticket to his whole career. This
well,
scholarship.
thank you for comparing me with a Sandy Koufax.
No,
like
I
one of
think
the
it's a
greatest
genuinely-
pitchers ever.
it's a bigger
But it was
sacrifice.
more like I kind of walked into like, like in Miami, if I went to my coach, like in Miami growing up, I went to a Presbyterian school, private
It
school.
would have been like, of course.
They wouldn't even have practice on Yom
Right,
Kippur.
right.
Just because like it's Miami and it's cultural and it's like
Columbus
whatever.
Day to them. It's like,
This
all right,
guy's
well,
never even heard of Yom Kippur. And I was like, well, you know, I'm Jewish. You're a Jew? I was like, yeah. You know, I never had a Jew on any of my football teams.
Oh, wow.
I was like, well, you know, look who's here. I was like, well, anyway, you know, the Day of Atonement. Nah, I don't know what that is. Judaism is like the holiest day. Like this is like our
This is the day
Easter.
we do
This
what-
is our deal.
This is when we do everything we want for 360.
This is the whole deal, right?
The truth
And-
is, there's no comparison because no other religion's stupid enough to do Yom Kippur.
And we gotta fast the whole day. I go, so I haven't eaten anything. I haven't drank anything all day. I can't practice. And he's like, for Yom Kippur, he's like, this is nonsense to him. He's never, in his 40 years of coaching, no one has ever come up to him and said they couldn't practice on Yom Kippur. So I said, yeah, I can't. He's like, boy, go get your ass in the locker room right now and get your pads on, and we got practice starts in 10 minutes. Let's go, boy. And I'm just like, oh, this guy. I said, Coach, I don't think you understand. Like,
I get
I
it.
can't practice today. My mom will kill me. Like, what don't you get here? Like, forget about Hashem, my mom. Like, you know? So he goes, I don't know what the hell you're doing with this coach, with this Yom Kippur thing, But you know what? Here's what you can do, boy. Put your pads on. You don't have to practice, but you can walk around and pick up trash. I said, on Yom Kippur, this motherfucker gonna make me put my pads on and pick up trash. And I'm walking around because I'm just like, if you don't practice, you can't play. It's like there's rules. I'm a freshman. I said, all right, coach, I'm gonna put my pads on and pick up trash on Yom Kippur. He's like, get out there, boy. So there I am, pads on with you ever see one of those trash things you pick up with
with the convicts.
Whatever, a convict with my pads on. And all my teammates love them, but they're like, oh, look at the Jew picking up trash. And I'm just like, I'm getting the fuck out of this school. So I played the whole season. I played that game because I technically practiced and spent football season. And I said, I'm out of this freaking place. Transferred to Florida State, then the rest is history from there. But that was my first foray into
When you're young, you don't.
You look like an FSU boy though. That probably suited you better.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're
worked out well.
When you're young, even I'm referring to myself specifically, you don't it took me a while to the last probably 2 years where I didn't realize how prevalent anti-Semitism really is. There is I was speaking with Dovey about this. He claims he thinks it's a metaphysical thing. It just exists in the world from the beginning of time, whether you want to say that's God or whatever.
That's the most religious thing about me is that
there's a real,
is what that line right there.
Anti-Semitism.
Well, I think we can all agree.
It's a real thing.
Well, when we can get into it. When October 7th happened, I'll never forget the day because we rarely do Saturday podcasts for PBD or for Valuetainment. Rarely. It's it's if we need to do it, we'll do it. But we'll make exceptions. This Saturday we have Tim Dillon coming on, the comedian. And next Saturday we have...
that motherfucker. Listen to me first of all. I emailed him.
Yeah.
Okay.
That guy we've been working on for a while. So
I emailed him. He went and shared my email with all 756,000 followers of his on his story.
Oh my God.
Really?
Yes. He responded, I'm not going to be in America for the next 9 years. And he pasted my entire email. Legit, real talk.
How bad was why would you say in the email?
No, nothing. I just asked him if he could come on. I guess it's a shtick of his. I think it's a shtick of people.
We have differing opinions.
He kind of doxed you?
I'm 100% sure that I'm correct on this. Definitely, I don't
Okay.
I thought his email was a little cringe, personally.
His email?
Yeah, because he wrote, come on and, come roast the Jewish...
I didn't write that. I said, I'm only going to let you on so long as you roast the Jewish community with me. It's nothing, there's no...
Okay, you tried to give a little joke, maybe,
it's a joke. Yeah, I don't give a shit about that.
So, but this particular Saturday was, who Tim Pool is?
I do. Where's that?
Tim Pool, Timcast. It's a massive podcast. Massive. Political commentary.
I know who that is. Yeah, I mean, okay.
He wears the black beanie. He's been on Rogan a million times.
Yeah, okay.
Tim Pool, Timcast, super smart guy. Him and Jimmy Dore were coming on. It was a Saturday podcast. And, breaking news, 8 a.m., whatever it was.
You know where I was?
Were you in Israel at the time?
In Israel.
Stop it.
Yeah, of course. I was woken up. I actually wasn't woken up. This is the joke my friends all make of me. I know how to sleep. And, the ear raid sirens went off a billion times, and I just slept through everything. And I woke up at 1. I'm like, guys, I walk. I'm like, what time is it? And they're like, it's 1 o'clock. I'm like, what about our meal? That was supposed to happen at 11. Synagogue. We're supposed to go to synagogue and have the kiddush, which is the food right after prayer.
Yeah, but you missed it all. You slept in.
And they're like, dude, are you not aware? There's a fucking war going on right now in this country. I'm like, what are you talking about? Dude, there's been 27 people captured. Taken hostage, 22 dead already. At that point, that was a 1 p.m.
And you were in Tel Aviv, in Jerusalem. Where were you?
Jerusalem. It was in
Okay,
Jerusalem.
gotcha.
We were direct, whatever. The ear sirens were running for the whole morning. Yeah. So that was it, bro.
Dallas, you were there.
You want to know what fucking eerie, deathly silence is? That was October 7th. That night is the biggest day of the year. It's Simchat Torah. All the Americans are there. In Jerusalem especially, it is the biggest day of the year, bar none. It's New Year's. It's
It's Mardi Gras for Jerusalem.
It's chaos.
Simchat Torah?
Yes. Chaos.
Really?
Simchat Torah. Do you know what Simchat Torah is?
I thought Purim was the big party festival. Simchat Torah is when it gets loose?
It's even crazier though because that's Yom Kippur. It's the second night. It's the Americans and the Israelis.
Right.
Simchat Torah. Do you know what Simchat Torah is?
Enlighten me, yeah.
I won't. No, I'm happy to enlighten you.
It's here's the difference. It's
Explain
like
what the concept is.
It's the debauchery, I would say, of Purim. But on Purim, like you could use your phones and like drive and stuff like that. But here, it's like the Sabbath, right? So you're stuck with your friends.
You're totally going off point.
And
Let me explain.
no, this is why it's crazier. All you could do is basically get drunk with your friends and
Let me
dance.
explain to
It's
them-
encouraged.
Let me explain to them what the fuck Simchat Torah is.
Let's start with the basics,
Correct.
He
Stovey.
cares. He wants to know why it's so crazy.
No, I want to know what Simchat Torah
He
is.
does. He wants to know. Simchat Torah is the day of the year that we thank God for giving us the Bible. It is
The Torah.
Yes, the Torah.
Yeah.
He gave it.
Actually would have answered that. That's what I would have thought it was,
So
yes.
I'm saying it's the one day. Now, if you're a religious Jew and you're someone that's, steeped in it, the idea that God gave us, that he chose us to be the chosen people, and he gave us the Torah, and like he gave it to us, that is the most happy, amazing thing in the world. It could be given to someone else. It was given to us. They see that right
Now, is this the
Giant
Ten
grape.
Commandments, Moses? Is that?
Yes.
Or is that?
Yes. That is the day. This is the day that commemorates that.
Gotcha.
Um,
So that's
it's
different
not-
from Pesach.
It's not like it's totally different like vibe. It's not like a very serious day. Like everyone is drinking and dancing in the
You can
streets.
tell I've been Americanized. I'm like, when's
Yeah. You're dancing-
4th of July, bro?
So
It's like
exactly. No.
I haven't celebrated Simchat Torah.
Well, this
You know
year,
something?
this year you're
Since-
gonna
Come
come.
with us.
This year in Jerusalem, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's okay. That you know. No. So the idea. So basically, what happens is you go into synagogue, you take the Bibles, and everyone dances with the Bibles. But the point is, people are. Yeah. It's the
It's
debauchery.
flying.
It's fucking awesome. Like okay now.
Now, I live in Miami. When I think debauchery, I don't think
Yeah.
when God gave us the Torah, bro.
That's why I was trying to explain. to
Okay?
him. It's like
You got the lulav and you
Exactly.
got the fucking air grow, whatever. They're like, who's going on here? You got some Manischewitz. It's getting loose out here. Just keep the guys and the girls separated. Debauchery.
So I was gonna say,
So debauchery is a little bit different in where you're
Slightly
from.
different.
I get it. I respect it. I respect all levels of debauchery.
Correct.
So you were there for this.
not live.
And you missed it.
When it
What
got
did you do
canceled.
Friday night on Shabbat that you woke up at 1 p.m.,
It didn't
bro?
happen. What do you mean? We go to bed 6 o'clock in the morning every single night. We're there.
And you're doing what? You're partying?
Yes.
Simchat Torah debauchery.
No.
Okay, I get it.
Well, every single night of those holidays, it's hard to explain to you. To that. Like
What do
every,
you
every
gonna
night of those
explain
holidays-
what partying is? What's
It's
happening
it's
right
the
now?
wealthiest Jews in the world all come into like a very small city and like
It's not just the wealth.
Why the wealthy? What is it?
Yeah, it's not the wealth.
Was
I mean,
it
actually,
elite
no,
Jews?
the wealthiest Jews all go to Jerusalem for.
But you don't have to be wealthy always to go to Jerusalem.
The vibe is just there's like very expensive parties going around like the city. You could like
It's like the who's who of Torah happening right there.
to an extent.
To an extent. Also, you have to realize the Orthodox world, when they throw it down for everyone. Like,
Really?
Yeah. So, like, the owner of this place, for example,
Yeah.
if he's doing a meal on Purim, I've always said they should have just a YouTube video of what a wealthy Orthodox person's house looks like on Purim, where there's a custom to give out a lot of charity. It will make for one of the greatest YouTube videos ever. I mean,
Well, tzedakah and mitzvahs are the cornerstone of
Correct,
Judaism,
but on
yes?
Purim is specifically.
Purim specifically.
Tzedakah.
Purim specifically.
Lines of poor people
People, they're running
around.
out-
Shout out to Esther, right? And Haman. Whatever happened to that motherfucker?
That motherfucker.
Nobody talks about him anymore. King Ashkashvera, what was his name?
He's fucking saying
What was his name?
You probably don't get to talk
King
a lot about
Ashka-
this on most
Ashka-
podcasts.
This is like, I told you, once you get me going, bing, 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 I'm like, I feel like I'm 13 years old again, about to do my Baruch Hashem, a Torah. I don't know. What's it called with your thing? When you did
The
your Haftorah.
Yeah, there you
Who
go.
knows that?
Everyone. So my point is that no,
Yeah.
every check is 180 to 1,000. It could go to 10,000. Just writing, like real fucking cash.
And they don't
You
ask
know?
questions. The guy comes in, he says, I'm poor, writes a check.
Done.
No questions.
Yeah, pre-made checks. I mean, they'll have their assistants right there.
I know because I've taken a lot.
So this is this is the time of year
But
when
I'm
you
saying
don't have
when you go to
loot.
Israel, my point is, and you walk into a party, there could be 350 people at each party of these, and there's just alcohol just fucking flowing.
On Purim or Simchat
No,
Torah?
I'm talking. This is both, but this was October 7th. I'm talking.
So what's the difference between Simchat Torah and Purim when it comes to the partying?
The difference is that on Purim you could smoke. It's not officially a.
On Purim, we get dressed up. It's like a much more outwardly like wild.
It's
I
also
guess.
not. It's also not. It doesn't have the same customs as Shabbat.
So,
So
there's
you
no,
don't have
yeah.
to. You can use electricity. You could do all those things. You don't. It's,
People don't know. So for the Jewish community that maybe is like kind of like me that isn't the Orthodox
secular,
world,
of course.
or the non-Jewish community that maybe is watching this, I've been to weddings, parties, bar mitzvahs, even maybe not so
Yeah.
much. The Jews throw down.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh my god!
Like it's encouraged to get drunk and party and
There's something in where
Yeah.
we live in Long Island. It's called Burning Bush. It's like this massive weed company,
Yeah.
exclusively called Burning Bush, obviously, exclusively
Shout out
caters
to Moses.
Yes.
to Orthodox Jews. Like
Okay.
edibles,
Yeah,
pre-rolls, everything, massive company.
And you would think,
To the
you know,
extent-
Orthodox Jews, this is,
No.
Oh no,
it
we're
would
partying
be
these
like-
days.
The way Orthodox Jews
no.
work is that anything that's not forbidden by Jewish law is doubled
Yeah.
down on the highest level. So like drinking alcohol
Yeah.
is not forbidden.
so you can get as white boy Jewish wasted as you
Yes.
want, but God forbid you eat a cheeseburger.
Yes, correct. Correct. That would exactly be the difference.
Exactly.
Precisely.
Honestly, if you had to give up one, which one did you give up though? Alcohol or cheeseburgers? Come on.
Shit.
I'm not going out with him anymore.
Cheeseburgers.
Yeah,
Cheeseburgers
obviously.
that goddamn
Yeah, I
much.
mean, you could almost, it's a trick question. Yeah.
I could do a lot worse than a cheeseburger,
But
bro.
back to-
I told you can't be with chicks anymore, especially non-Jewish ones. Or drinking, you lose your shit, bro.
Cheeseburgers, bro. But here's the point. We kind of, we did some partying right there. Going back to the point, we talked
October
about
7th, yes, it was the most-
anti-Semitism and all this. I was talking with your friend Alan Dershowitz. I keep wanting to say Alan Greenspan. Alan Dershowitz. And he reminded me of this yesterday. He said, do you understand when October 7th happened, October 8th, so there's October 6th, October 7th, October 8th, 3 very different days. On October 8th, the world condemned Israel.
Yeah.
Before we even before Israel
Right.
fired a single bullet. And I
the
remember
bullshit,
Harvard, 30
Yes,
of their
yes.
student groups came out and condemned Israel for whatever line of bullshit. So whatever we're seeing now of a ceasefire and genocide, before Israel even went in, there was
That's what I'm saying, it's
condemnation.
metaphysical. It has nothing to do
So
with what's
I'm
going
just
on.
like, so I'm sitting there, I'm like, hold on. Israel's the bad guy now?
Yeah.
In certain pockets of the world, 1,200 people were just massacred, raped,
Barbarically,
murdered,
yeah.
barbarism, hostages,
It's insane.
and now Israel. We're the bad guy. Israel. What is going on here? Because we've all been very lucky to live in the United States, very lucky. And there's this whole anti-American culture, especially on the far left,
need to
especially on
get-
the far
yes.
left, the progressive left, because we all knew how bad the far right was. We knew the neo-Nazis and we knew the KKK.
Everyone knows
and we
that.
knew the white Christian nationalists. Probably not a fan of the Jews.
Yeah.
They're kind of down with this guy. But we had no idea that the far left was this radical.
I knew that. But,
But-
not to take
but
that
I don't
point,
think
but that does not surprise me.
I don't think the collective we, like
World,
we
yeah,
knew
yeah.
the squad and the Ilhan Omars and some people in Congress and the Rashida Tlaib's. Hold on, what's this all
She's
about?
a
What's this all
fucking-
about?
Did you see she abstained on the rape?
On the rape.
What the
Rashida
fuck?
Tlaib.
What the
It was unanimous except for her.
She abstained on a resolution
Yeah.
condemning the rape by Hamas. She abstained. What? No,
Only person
that should be
in all of Congress.
I mean, when you were talking to Bassem Youssef, he was
I
like,
want to get into that.
Yeah.
I don't mean to go into prematurely, but he was like equivocating. He's like, by the way, the babies some of them weren't beheaded, only a couple of them were beheaded. Like, not,
was just a
I'm
couple
like,
of
are you like really
Right.
like
It's also just
splitting these hairs?
there's so much to say on this topic. I want to actually ask you on that, but the disinformation and the facts that are the problem is that when you're in a conversation about these things and you're debating this topic, and you could say what everyone knows is true, and then I could just throw out at you, oh, by the way, no, that's not true. There's a report, by the way, in Haaretz. There's an Israeli person that even admitted themselves that one of the reports were not true. Like an outlier thing, like obscuring the truth, and almost like that's the method to trip up the argument, right? And like, see, you don't know about that, so you can't even defend on that.
Right.
When the actual, very clear, obvious truth, the unequivocal 47 minutes of straight barbaric, that specifically wants to be ignored is incredible. And I obviously watched about some years, but I actually watched it, and it's unbelievable to me because whatever it was, 15 minutes, it was obviously intense. To me, it's like you're speaking common sense, like straight up, like very obvious. Listening to him, he's throwing out these random things that I'm like, all right, we need fact checking here. We need something because again, anyone could do that. But I went to the comment section, and in general, the comment section, YouTube, I'm obviously so tuned in with the podcast that I'm all over social media. I think it's 95% to 5% of people, and I ask this on a lot of podcasts when this conversation comes up, basically everyone, 95% to 5% are anti-Israel. How is
Shocking,
that
yes.
fucking possible? How is that? Like, I watch, right? Everyone online is claiming, right, between me and you, I didn't see it this way, but everyone online is busy claiming, oh, Adam got smoked by Bassam. Blah,
Yeah.
blah. And I'm just like, they just hate Israel. They hate Jews. It's an anti-Semitic aspect to me. I'm being honest. I don't see it.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because I'm used to my fair share of hate comments. And that just comes with the territory, especially when you delve into politics and you get into, certain people and you're in the public domain. And it's like, at this point, I'm totally comfortable with the hate comments. I can't say that I always was, especially the first year. Fire Adam, fuck Adam. And like PBD, never even once
You didn't flinch.
didn't flinch. He said, Adam's not going anywhere.
Wow.
Right? Because I've known PBD since
Told you not to fire me.
2012, right?
I want to understand how you got into that, but keep on going on this point. Before
So never once was he like, hey, if you don't do this, he says, I've gotten emails, messages, DMs, phone calls, fire this fucking guy. He goes, you want me to fire this guy who I've known for 10 years and I respect this guy and he respects me because he has a difference of opinion of his you? No, that's not what we do here. That's not what we do here at Valuetainment. So I said, he made it known I got your back. At the same time, he said, I want you to grow. I want you to learn. I want you to reason. I want you to strategize. One of the things we say is outwork, out-improve, out-strategize, outlast. And I take that to heart. I said, all right, pony up. Let's go. So when the Bassam Youssef thing happened, I said, okay, now look, Bassam Youssef maybe happened January? When was that?
What are we in right now? Yeah, beginning of January.
Maybe December?
Yeah, late
I don't
December,
know. Within the last month or two.
Yeah.
October 7th. So within the October 7th, which we're in February, 5 months ago, I said, this is fucking crazy. I'm seeing what's going on here. Do I really want to put myself out there with all the hate online I've already received politically for, interviewing Andrew Tate, interviewing Alex Jones, getting into it with certain people, pushback. There's already a lot of comments out there. But Patrick, December 7th, writes this book called Choose Your Enemies Wisely.
Yeah.
So I say, who's my enemy? And you have to understand, this is what's so crazy about the internet. I've lived in Miami my whole life. You go around Miami, you go to every bar owner, club owner, real estate agent, any person, any girl that works around here, any just person who owns a shop, and they say, do you know this fucking guy, Adam? My word to God, your reputation is the most important thing you could possibly have. They're like, yeah, I've known Adam for like 20 years. Oh, that's my guy. Oh, cool, yeah. I used to work with Adam. I used to work for Adam. Yeah, I used to work like people hit me. Patrick will go out to dinner with his wife. Patrick is worth hundreds of millions of dollars, super successful, super famous, but he's not from Miami. And I tell him where to go, what to do, and I introduce him to people. He goes, every time I go out, every time someone stops me, it could be the busboy, it could be the bartender, it could be the Uber driver. He goes, they go, yeah, I've known Adam. Since high school, I've known Adam since, he's like, that's my guy. He goes, everyone I run into thinks you have a great reputation. I go, yeah, I go out of my way not to fuck people over. How about that? So when I get the hate comments, that's one thing. All right, but these people don't know who I am. But then October 7th happens. And I said, look, I'm not no Israeli-Palestinian expert, but let me learn. Let me understand. I've been to Israel a few times. A couple of my best friends got married there. They're Israeli. So I said, do I care enough about this subject to put myself out there? Yes, I do. Okay. Do I care enough about this subject to get into it online with people? Yes, I do. Am I comfortable going head up against arguably the most famous Arab political satirist in the world?
Is he? That's what he is?
Bassam Youssef is the Jon Stewart of the Arab world.
Got it. Okay.
So I said, I'm going to go in with facts.
Yeah.
I said, forget about my opinions. I'm going to go in with facts, specifically revolving around geopolitics and socioeconomics. And one of the lines I said to him was, I said, I want to focus on GDP, not GDT. Gross domestic product, not gross domestic terrorism. Why is it that in countries like Qatar or in UAE or in the wealthier nations, Oman, what have you, there's none of this struggle. Nobody's blowing themselves up. I said it's in the poor countries. So socioeconomics has a lot to play in this. So if you sprinkle in socioeconomics and you sprinkle in what's called GDP per capita, so Qatar has some of the highest GDP per capita in the world. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah.
So the average person there makes 6 figures. The average person. America,
they have a 6-figure stipend just for being a citizen, right?
So I said, Kuwait, I said, interesting. You know, some of the lowest, Egypt, Lebanon, Jordan, Syria's dead last.
Yeah.
So I said, when you sprinkle in geopolitics, socioeconomics, GDP per capita, that's just money. That has nothing to do with religion. And then you start sprinkling anti-Zionism, some, indoctrination, Hezbollah, Hamas. What's a 19-year-old guy, unemployed, no job prospects, makes $1,000 a year? What do you expect that guy to do with his life other than submit to jihad? And then there's the pay for slay situation. Right. So I went down these facts with him. And I went down the facts that, everyone's mad about the Israeli border. Nobody talks about the Egyptian border over here.
When did he respond to that? I'm trying to remember.
I remember.
There's no good.
So there was just a bunch of different things here. And he goes, your undertone is racist. I go, oh, I'm sorry that this data is racist over here. But, I apologize. But the thing that, we went back and forth. There's a million different topics we could talk about. But what people don't understand is at the end of the podcast, I said, here's what I'm going to do, Bassem. Because I've seen podcasts, especially on Piers Morgan, and PBD was just on Piers Morgan, and there's the Rabbi Shmuley, and there's like this big...
Jake Uger.
Cenk. What's that?
Finkelstein?
I've seen Norman Finkelstein. What a joke.
What a fucking...
No, he's a big Muslim guy, big bearded guy.
Are you talking about the hijab? What's his name?
Yes.
Muhammad?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
That clown.
And I said, and I think it was the Rabbi Shmuley, and I think at the end he goes, would you shake my hand? No, not shake your hand.
He wouldn't shake your hand?
He wouldn't shake Rabbi, this is on Piers Morgan.
Oh, hijab.
Yes.
Yes, I saw that.
He wouldn't shake his hand.
Yes.
I said at the end of the podcast, I go, Bassem, I don't care how much we argued. At the end of the podcast, I'm going to shake your hand, and if you're willing to, I'm going to give you a hug. Because you're not my enemy. I don't think I'm your enemy. We just have a difference of opinion, and that's okay. That's the whole reason that we do this podcast. And you know what he did at the end? He gave me a hug, and he kissed me on the head. I said, I'm good with you, bro. We might be totally diametrically opposed to this. But you're at least willing to shake my hand and give me and I posted the picture afterwards, and people were like, oh, this, that, the other. I'll say one last thing about this. With Bassem, and I don't know if I said this in the podcast, but this is where I was going. I said, you're from Egypt, but he's married to a Palestinian. I go, why don't you live in Egypt anymore? Oh, I can't live in Egypt anymore. They criticize the government. They'll kill me.
Right.
I said, interesting. I said, where do you do comedy in the Middle East? Oh, there's places I'll go, Dubai and, certain places. I go, would you go to Syria? No. Would you go to Yemen? No. Would you go to Lebanon? Nah. Would you go to Israel?
He said no.
He goes, nah, I don't know. They probably wouldn't treat me nice. I don't think I'd go. I said, really? Really? Because I'm very confident if you went to Israel, you'd be absolutely fine. Why? Why? Because there's 2 million other Arabs out there who are equal citizens of Israel. Did you know that? I don't know about that.
Well, he just thinks they're not. I'll sit there and give you 19 reasons in his mind.
Exactly.
They're not.
So isn't it ironic that you can't go back to your home country because they will literally kill you?
There's no freedom of speech. Yeah, of course.
But you don't feel comfortable going to Israel because you think they're not going to be nice to you. So there's just there's something going on
It's
there.
not a lot. Yeah, honestly, that's the thing. I don't think it's a logical thing at the end of the day. Like, it's an anti-Semitic.
To go back to your thing, October 8th, Israel didn't even fire a bullet. They were already condemning Israel.
Of course. The press.
Anti-Semitism and anti-Judaism, it's just pervasive in the world.
Brother, if this happened in America, there would be a full license by every single American to do whatever the fuck. There wouldn't even be a conversation. Also, people have somehow, their brains have, I mean, it makes sense. Most people are stupid, but they've come to the understanding that the person who's right and the person who's wrong is the person who's killed more or less people. Like, that's their entire understanding.
Well, you're absolutely right. I've learned this. I've been in finance and dating and night like this my whole life. There's things I can talk about for days, and I know more than almost anybody. I didn't understand this woke mind virus, especially on the far left,
dude.
with the intersectionality and the oppressor and the oppressed and the decolonialization of everything that they're teaching. You know, when you see things like, and we have people that work at Valuetainment that went to Harvard, and when you see that Harvard, you know, the teacher at Penn had to step down.
Yes.
Not the teacher, the president.
One of them got away with it.
The president of Penn and the president of Harvard stepped down, not the one at MIT, who's Jewish, by the way, they wouldn't condemn.
The Harvard one, by the way, officially didn't have to step down for that. They got on plagiarism.
Whatever it is. But you know that there's rankings of freedom of speech on campus. Did you know that? Do you know where Harvard ranked on freedom of speech on campus out of every university in the country? You know where they ranked?
Probably lowest.
Dead last.
Yeah, of course, because they can only say what they like, what they want you to say.
And so these kids, they're not being educated; they're being indoctrinated. Learn reading, writing, arithmetic, biology, chemistry, whatever, engineering, STEM. But you're learning these things that you're being indoctrinated by these teachers to their philosophy classes. It's just a slippery slope here. So like when you hear the things like, you know, Israel's committing genocide. I said, interesting. I told this to Bassem, I go, listen, not for nothing, Bassem, us Jews, we kind of know a thing or two about genocide because there's 6 million of us not alive here after the Holocaust. So this is a term we've heard before. How come, you know, in Gaza, in 1990, there was 500,000 people living there, and now it's 2 million?
Well, he said they...
Was that?
Yeah.
And then how many, I said...
What was the answer he officially gave? I've never even heard that answer from anyone.
He goes, well, you know, it's the borders and
They deported people in there. He gave like some whole reason.
But, you know, and our friend Alan Dershowitz said yesterday, he goes, and look, fact check Alan Dershowitz all you want. This is what he said. He goes, you know, they're claiming that there's 30,000 people have died in Gaza.
Right.
Based on my estimates, I think it's 25,000. I said, okay, this is what Dershowitz. I go, so sure, let's call it. He goes, but for the sake of the argument, let's call it 30. Cool. He goes, no, what they've said is that 10,000 of them have been Hamas militants. Okay. He goes, but then they say of the 30,000, they don't distinguish between women and children. Okay, let's go down the rabbit hole. And he goes, as if to say that a woman can't be a terrorist, one thing. And number two, in Gaza, they count 19 and under as children. So if you're 17,
right.
If you're 18, if you're 19 and you're fighting,
right.
You're a civilian.
You're a child.
Adam, honestly, there's this absolute ridiculous, like people almost like forgot how war works.
Yes.
People die. Like there's been some brain fart that has happened that people don't understand the concept of war anymore, and like the way to like a war stops when there's an equal amount of people that have died on each side. Like they don't understand how winning equals a result. And by the way, that goes really with the whole entire U.S. is going and the wokeness. They don't even know what winning is, bro. They have no concept.
Yes.
Half the people in this country and the younger generation and the immigrants walking into this country, they don't fucking like America. Like I've been telling you this, they don't understand the American dream. They don't know what it means to win. They have no fucking interest. They want a socialist country, bro. Half these people are sitting here, these university kids, they don't want the American dream. That's not what they're looking for. They're looking for heavily socialized government. That's my honest opinion. And
you're not wrong.
So, you know, I was also, I said earlier, you know, we did a pod with, I'll just say it here, with Francis Suarez.
Yeah, my guy, the mayor.
He's awesome. Fucking love him. We had such a great time with him. Such a proponent of forget about Israel, but loves Jews. He was awesome. He was he was really welcoming and hospitable to us. But, you know, I was telling him that specifically, lost my train of thought. I was discussing with him that right now the only reason why America is vetoing all these all the UN resolutions, which amazingly, not surprisingly, are 12-0 against Israel. But the reason...
Yeah, the UN has been exposed, especially with this UNRWA situation. I mean,
total bull.
it's crazy. Yeah.
Absolute insanity.
And you're talking to somebody that would have been like, hold on, the UN, we got to respect the UN. I've seen how fraudulent they are at this point.
I mean, it's funny. Like the amount of resolutions against Israel over the last 50 years has been absolutely wild. Like not to be believed. Like 80% are against Israel as opposed to all the other shit that's going on in the world.
And then you find out how many have been resolutions or condemnations against North Korea
Syria,
or Iran or Syria. Basically none.
Correct.
But Israel.
So no. But if you
this goes back to what Dobie was saying, that it's just sort of in the esoteric, metaphysical. It's built in.
The funny part is,
which fucking sucks.
But if you tell that to Palestinians, they're like, yeah, of course it's majority because Israel's the worst. Like that's how they spin it.
Yeah.
But either the point I was just saying is that the reason why we're able to do that is because the government, thank God, are still people from the previous generation who actually have their heads decently on straight.
Yes.
Ultimately, at the end of the day, the people that are in government come from Ivy League schools. That's just traditionally where 85% of the government is from. What is going to fucking happen in 30 years? Here's my question. When the people who are in Ivy League schools right now are all far left people, right? They're coming out of Penn, they're coming out of Harvard, they're coming out of, Yale, they're coming from all these places. And those are the people condemning Israel October 8th. That's who it is. And they're going to be the ones leading this country. What is America going to look like? Forget about just Israel, okay? Because Israel is a what's the word I'm looking for? It's a microcosm of what they really believe, which is going to be an America that's going to be having all these woke far left policies. What is your opinion?
Yeah, this is a valid question, especially as a proud American and as someone that has been, for the most part, a Democrat his whole life, right? My father was a JFK Democrat. He used to talk about JFK as if he was like the man. JFK is what America didn't like JFK. And then that led to being a Clinton guy. And at this point, I don't even recognize the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
So that being said, I'm not hanging out with the January 6th crew, invading the Capitol. But there's just like this polarity that's going on here. But like I said at the beginning, we knew what was going on the far right. The fringe element
They're not
of
dangerous
the far right.
No one on the right aligns himself with those people.
No, correct.
No one of the majority of the right, we understand that those people we don't want anything to do with them.
Exactly. It's easy to condemn the guy with the swastika on the middle of his forehead.
Yeah.
Okay.
For now, it's
it's easy to condemn the guy with the white cloak on, the KKK guy. But the kid that went to Cornell, or the professor that goes to Cornell, or Harvard, or Penn, or any Ivy League school, or any leftist school, or any Berkeley, and they're smart, and they're living in their ivory towers, or they're in Boston, or they're in Cambridge, that's a little bit different to decipher and decode.
Yeah.
Because they're smart, they're educated,
they're savvy,
but they're misinformed. And they're not hanging out with the white cloaks and the swastikas. And, Elon Musk he's been nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize for what he's done on Twitter for free speech. He's called it the woke mind virus. Another friend of mine, Gad Saad, has called it the parasitic mind, right? The woke parasitic mind. And this is stuff that I didn't. Why would you ever think of this way? But here's the thing that happened with COVID. Everyone's hand got revealed. No matter what country, no matter what you believe, no matter what you stood for, everyone had to put their cards on the table and say, this is how I fucking operate. Everybody. Every country, every government, every business.
What forced them to do that, to show their hand?
You were mandated. You either had to get a vax, you had to work from home, you had to stand up for something, you had to vote for Trump, you had to vote for Biden. Your hand was shown. Social media, pervasive. Everyone's going out there. Did you put up the black square? Did you not put up the black square? Did you protest for George Floyd? Did you not? Are you defund the police? Are you not defund the police? Are you getting the vax? You're not. All these things happened at once, and everyone had to be like, "This is what I fucking stand for."
Right.
Hey, all these conservatives are getting shadow banned and canceled. How do you feel about that? Well, did they vote for Trump or not? They did. Cancel him. What? Aren't we in America here? Well, you know, we and then all of the Twitter files come out there, and 95+% of people in Silicon Valley or in the big tech world, they all voted. They all donated to the liberals. They all voted to the Dems.
Yeah.
And then you see everything that's going on, and this is to your point. All of a sudden, 13-1. For every 13 liberal professors in college, in higher education universities, 1 conservative.
Really?
13-1. And that was in 2020. So it might even be more now.
Yeah.
So that's who's educating the kids. Now, education, learning, universities, the construct of them, important. The reason the Jews are successful is because all our parents.
It's only as important as the people teaching there. I mean,
Correct. So the problem with those people and the bureaucracy, like if you ever read the book Barbarians to Bureaucrats, you know, it's never the founder of the school that has these businesses or these. It's never the founder of the company. It's the bureaucrats who come in. And you know, Andrew Yang, who we've interviewed, he said, "How come the cost of college is 4 times more expensive, but the education is nowhere close to being 4 times as good?" He goes, I would argue that it's actually gone down because the bureaucrats and the DEI and everything that goes on there, and we have to check all the boxes and everything like that. So what's happening in the 13-1, these people have never built businesses. These people have never built companies. They've never had employees. They don't know how it works. They don't know what minimum wage does to a business. They've never operated. They've never done anything.
Yeah.
So they say, well, you know, was Mao a good guy or a bad guy? Depends who you ask. Mao. Was Stalin a good guy or a bad guy? Marxism, collectivism. Was Hitler really? What is happening here, guys? And that's who our kids are being taught from. So to your point, and then also in the 70s, 80s, 60% of college students were men. 40% were women. Okay? Now, flipped.
Why?
60% of college students are now women and 40% are now men.
Why is that?
Because women have been told, you know, the future is female. Go out and get your bag. Don't depend on no man. You got to go get your business. Go do your thing.
Why wouldn't it be
the
equal?
breakdown of family, the nuclear family, was that?
Why wouldn't it be equal? Like 50-50 at least. What I'm saying.
Because there's been this, I mean, that's a whole loaded question right there. Why wouldn't it be equal? Because men, for the most part, they'll go out and get jobs and trade jobs and technical schools, and maybe they don't want to go to college, and you know, they don't go to college. I didn't go to school. Okay, so maybe you want to go into entrepreneurship, or maybe you got an internship, or maybe you want to go into the workforce. Maybe you want to go a police officer. Women, liberal arts women, they'll go to college, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but that comes with a price, and the wokeness and the indoctrination and the DEI and the feminist movement. They grab a hold of these women, and next thing you know, they're anti-men, they're anti-anything on the right, you know, and even in high school right now, there's stats out there that show high school boys are becoming more conservative and high school girls are becoming more liberal. So the further and further and further you go down the liberal rabbit hole, there used to be a difference between a liberal and a leftist. Now I'm not even sure where it's at, where that line is. Liberal, like when you stand for liberal democracies, that's the foundation of the Western world. Right. The EU, Canada, Australia, America, liberal democracies. Now, liberal is a bad word. But there's a difference in liberal and leftist. What's happening in this left of collective mentality, women are also collectivist creatures. You know what I'm saying by that? Where men believe in hierarchies, right? Totem pole, right? We have the general, then we have the commander, then we have the captain, and then we have the lieutenant, and then we have the infantry, the brigade. That's how it works.
Right.
Women is like, no, we're all the same. We're all equal. You know, my football team is, shout out to my coach Kirby out there. He was the fucking coach. Above him was the AD. Then there's the assistant coach. Right. I'm the lowest player in the totem pole. We understand hierarchies and structure. women have this natural sense of collectivism. And that just breeds socialist ideology because they don't want to ruffle any feathers.
Right.
Guys like
Masculinity.
exactly.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, I give you that whole dissertation right there. Yes, we're all concerned about what's happening in America. Yes, we didn't realize how the woke mind virus is. But as I had Candace Owens on the podcast, she says, I believe in equilibrium. I believe in equilibrium, meaning reversion to the mean. We're all seeing what's going on the left and being like, nah, we tried it. We canceled some people. We shadow banned some people. We told people to go away. You know, the Me Too movement thing was here. The BLM thing was here. But it's like, can we get back to a meritocracy? And my only hope is, you know, they say when you're young and you're not a liberal, you have no heart.
You have no
but
heart.
when you have no heart.
When you're older.
Never heard this?
Yeah.
When you're older and you're not a conservative, you have no brain. So a lot of these people, 18, 19, 20, 25, 30, eventually they're going to have kids. Eventually they're going to have a family. Eventually they're going to want to start a business, and they're going to have to use their brain. The last thing I'll say is this is what our friend Alan Dershowitz said. He goes, Israel has to be ready for the time, God forbid that America doesn't have its back. Because in 30 years from now, when these kids, 30 years from now, I'll be in my 70s. I'll be retired. I'll be playing with my grandkids at that point. You'll be 60.
Yeah.
Right? You'll still somehow be 27, killing in the club.
I'm never getting old.
The 30-year-olds, are going to be running the country.
Yeah.
The 18-year-olds today are going to be running the country. And if they don't realize who are the good guys and who are the bad guys, and no one's 100% good, no one's 100% bad. Right?
Yeah.
Like Israel's not 100% and Gaza isn't 0%.
Faults, yeah.
One of my favorite things that I like to say is find the gray. Find the gray. It's not all black and white. What's the gray area here? Okay, I get it. All right, I defend Israel, but Bibi does kind of have a right-wing kind of government. There's, all right, well, but when you go to, if Israel did want to commit genocide, they could just bomb the whole fucking place.
Drop a nuke tomorrow.
And drop a nuke and kill 1 million people. Why don't they do that?
Yeah.
So find the gray area with that.
I mean, yeah. The real thing I always say in that regard, just a couple quick points, is that people always point out, oh, Israel, whatever, they've made mistakes. And obviously, no shit, they've made mistakes. They've done things that aren't perfect, obviously.
So has the United States.
Exactly.
So has Great Britain. So has Australia.
The point is what are the values you live by and what's the core of the human being? It's like, think of a human being. Right? When you have a narcissist, the person's inherently a bad person. Like the core 85% of the person is a problem, as opposed to 85% of the person is a good dude and 15% is their flaws, right? So what makes up the mass of that being, right? Is that a positive thing or a negative thing? Israel, the United States, the UK, these countries that have that are democracies, right? We could look at it and see it and say, yeah, there are flaws. There are 15% of this. We fucked up in different areas, Iraq, this, that, Israel, I'm sure, in different capacities as well, but overall, the intention and the overall moral compass is straight. And that's that's the beginning, middle, and end.
You're absolutely right. So you have to look at...
I have a huge question for you, though.
Yeah. Let me just say this one
please.
thing. You have to look at the sides and you have to look at the teams. Look at who's on whose team. So if you want to go to their team first, you have Hamas, you have the Houthis, you have Hezbollah. Who's funding all this operation? Iran.
Russia.
Who's with Iran? Who's on team Iran? Who's on team terrorist? Iran, North Korea, Russia, China. That's your squad, guys. Congrats. That's your team. That's a good point. So if you're an American rooting for Hamas, by de facto, you're rooting for Iran, terrorism, Russia, China, communism, totalitarianism, everything that goes on with that. All right, who's on team America? How about every liberal democracy on earth, including Israel?
Right.
USA, Canada, Australia, every EU country, every country that's basically part of NATO, with the exception of Turkey, that's all another situation. South Korea, Japan, Israel, they're all on that team.
Yeah.
So in World War II, we all had to pick our side, just like in World War I, we had to pick our sides. It was the Allies versus the axis of evil. The new axis of terror and the axis of evil is Iran, is Russia, China, North Korea. So, go ahead if you're an American rooting for that team. Why are you still living in America?
All right, everybody, want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor for this episode, Ice Shaker Incorporated. For those of you that have been following Mislaibeled, you know that we had Chris Gronkowski on. This is his company. They were on Shark Tank, offered a deal by all 5 sharks. They have sold over 1 million bottles to date. Kitchen grade stainless steel, which does not absorb odor like all plastic bottles do. If you are a workout junkie, this product is for you. Third party tested, will hold ice for 30 plus hours and keep your drink cold. Additionally, this is customizable for all employers for their employees and can make for a great gift for a friend. Turnaround time on custom bottles is 3 to 5 business days. To reach out to them, you can hit them via email, info@iceshaker.com. That's info at ICESHAKER.com. Or reach them by phone, 817-329-6478. Again, that's 817-329-6478. A customer rep will direct you to the correct sales department. Now back to our episode. There's one thing that I very much want to speak to you about. So we're talking about the feminism, woke mind virus, that whole thing. Obviously, you were one of the first people to sit with Andrew Tate, both when he got canceled and then when he got out of prison. I've watched a lot of footage. I watched both interviews. I find Tate to be, he's brilliant. There's no denying his intellect and his IQ. That I will say. With that being said, Putin is also, I watched that interview with Tucker. He's also a genius. So I'm reserved when I talk about geniuses. A lot of very problematic people in the world are geniuses. And Tate was very, very, very influential, in my opinion, in a positive way as far as calling out the feminist movement. I think that's obviously why they were so fucking scared of him and why he blew up. And there's no question he just went to war, punched him right in the fucking face, and they didn't know how to handle it. He was that good. With that being said, I think there's a lot of very problematic things there. Personally, my agreement is 100% with Ben Shapiro as far as like what you do to solve the issue, which I don't agree with Tate personally. But I did then watch the Pierre's interview with Tate, and I need your honest opinion.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have seen that. He went there through the whole thing. It's a concentration camp, clearly one of the nicer concentration camps. I don't know if you've seen videos of Gaza. It's fucking gorgeous, by the way. It's on the beach, the whole 9 yards. It's a very terrible concentration camp. But he went on the whole 9 yards, right? Explaining how, he's just explaining how it's a pressure cooker, blah, blah, blah. Not wanting to say, well, maybe the government ran a coup, threw all their opponents off a roof and have been shooting fucking rockets into Israel.
Yeah, in 2005 during the disengagement.
There'll always be an answer for why it's Israel's fault. It's never going to end. It's always going to be, well, you started. Okay, I don't know. I think it's pretty obvious that anyone that, no matter what the scenario is just shooting rockets off, totally blindly and, raping innocent women. My personal opinion is that they're the issue regardless to what happened. I don't remember the Jews walking out of the, Warsaw ghetto and fucking raping Germans. I didn't see that article yet today. Now, he went on this whole thing. I need your honest opinion on what you think coming out of there. You're a Jewish guy. You're a proud Jew, clearly. You're standing up for your faith. What's your take? Now that you're looking back.
So the question is Andrew Tate overall or his take on the Israel-Hamas situation?
Both. If you want to separate them, by all means.
Yeah. So, we've had a relationship with Tate for a few years now. When I used to only do money content, right? And then Patrick was like, you've been in nightlife your whole life. You've been on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Your best friend walked Khloe down the aisle. You've been in the Hollywood. My best friend was the guy, Chris Humphries, that married
like a bridesmaid
Kim Kardashian, and I was a groomsman. And
he's still your best friend? You're in touch with him?
Yeah, he was here last weekend.
Wow.
Yeah,
what effect did that have on his life? Sorry for jumping off topic for a second.
It's the most public divorce.
They're married.
One of the most
days.
Exactly.
It's funny because you talk about like how you thought it was a very genuine relationship.
It was. It actually was.
How does that end?
How to go to shit so quick.
It just, that's we can do. We'll address that.
Is he fine after that?
The guy made $50 million in the NBA. He's married to Kim Kardashian. The
I
guy's living a dream life. He's doing great. He's doing awesome. Go out with him and I in South Beach. Believe me, you're not going to leave single-handed. So.
After this podcast is like.
But the point is, he says you're doing too much money content. You're more than that. You know all these people. You have all these relationships. You've been in the nightlife world. You were a stand-up comedian. You've been in the relationship stuff. You're a networker. You're a sales guy. Like, do more. And you know what I said? I go, no. I'm gonna stick to just stick to the money stuff. I don't know why. It could have been the fact that I was living in Dallas at the time with PBD because I moved there during COVID and we weren't in South Florida. I didn't know anybody. So I was like, what the fuck am I going to do in Dallas? So eventually when we moved down here, he goes, that's one of the things he always says, every year you got to reinvent yourself. You can't be the same old guy. You got to reinvent yourself. Take what you've learned, but reinvent yourself. He goes, how about now? I said, all right, I'll take you up on the offer. So I started doing this money content where I would always have women on the panel and interviewing women and having conversation. What kind of guy are you interested in? Do you care how much money he has? What kind of car he drives? Da, 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 da. So I started doing this content, and because I've been in the nightlife world, because I've owned nightclubs, because I've worked in nightclubs, because I've been in this world, I kind of have a knack for this thing. Women, money, dating, and all that kind of stuff like that. And I start interviewing all these red pill guys. Rollo Tomasi, Fresh and Fit, Justin Waller, the list goes on. And I'm cool with these dudes because, quite frankly, just like you, I'm a guy's guy. I like hanging out with the boys and hanging out with hot chicks. Kind of my thing.
Nothing like it. Yeah.
So all of a sudden, Andrew Tate starts popping up on camera. And this would have been in early 2022, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
This isn't that long ago, right? This is in ancient biblical times. And I said, this is March of 2022. I'll never forget. I go, PBD, because we have a whole talent booker thing going on at Valuetainment. I go, hey, I'm going to try to get this guy, Andrew Tate, on the podcast. He goes, yeah, I think you should. That'd be good for you. Meaning like, do it in your podcast, not my podcast, right?
That's a hell of a way to say
PBD.
something.
The Soscat.
Like, do it for your podcast. I think that'll be good for you. You're in that world, the red pill, dating, relationship kind of a thing. Yeah, I'm going more the political thing, right? He goes, I'm familiar with him. I like his stuff, but yeah, go get him. So Tate at that point wasn't back in America. And we were reached out to his team. Next time Andrew's here, for sure, he'd love to come on. Huge fan of PBD, when we're back in America, we'll coordinate some times. Blows up. He's the most Googled man in the world, And just to kind of put a bookend on this story, March, I bring this up to PBD. 6 months later, we land the first interview with Tate when he's canceled. He gets canceled from everything. We fly to Madrid to interview him, PBD and myself and our team. Meaning PBD didn't want him on his podcast in March, and in September we're flying to fucking Madrid to interview him. That in 6 months, this guy took over the internet. That's the whole point of my story. So that, by the way, is when Marcello called me, just to kind of circle back to that.
Yeah, I got you.
So we go interview Tate, and it's all about, he gets his Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat, everything's taken down.
Yeah.
His banking, his Stripe, his Square, taken down. Uber, Lyft, Airbnb, everything's taken down. All because he has a difference of opinion. I said, I don't stand for this.
There's no question that is ridiculous. I mean, there's
Exactly.
That's the left for you. There's no question.
So I said, I don't agree with everything Andrew Tate says. I don't agree with everything anybody says.
Right.
I don't agree with 100% of what PBD says. And I sit next to him every day. That's the whole point of the podcast, is for me to say, yeah, I don't know about that, PBD, because I think, and he'd be like, well, you don't fucking know. Like, that's the whole point of debates, the whole point of discussion, it's the whole point of dialogue. But what I will say is the majority of what Andrew Tate said was right in that first podcast. The second podcast was in Romania. That was in his house. We had to fly there. This is after he was in jail for 3 months. In my opinion, wrongfully accused. And
What happened with that? Was he convicted? What ended up happening?
no, he was on house arrest.
What's
and
now?
now he's just, it's almost like they're like, we'll tell you later.
Have they given
Nothing.
When's the date that they're gonna?
Zero. Nobody knows. Like, he's just out and about, and he's still doing podcasts and running around Romania. He's
With no sentence.
It's
date,
like he's on watch. There's been no sentencing. There's been no conviction.
Interesting.
There's been allegations. There's been no trial. There's nothing.
That's crazy.
It's sort of like a kangaroo court that's going on there.
Clearly seems that way.
But the reason that I'm saying this is the second time around, we interviewed Tate, and Patrick's a big fan of gifts. And he gave him a gift, 2 gifts. One was a Bible, like an old freaking Bible, and one was like a very beautiful, doctored up Quran. And he said, I know that you used to be Christian, and I know that in jail you converted to Islam.
Oh, is that what happened? It was
Straight
just-
up?
I didn't realize that it was in jail. Okay.
Could it have been right before jail? Sure.
No,
but-
meaning I thought it was years ago. Okay.
No. This is all very recent.
Okay.
In 2023, Andrew Tate converted to Islam.
Okay.
We gave him a Quran from actually one of Patrick's friends / employees at his other company, and he's like, oh, thank you. So it's no secret that if and when Andrew Tate gets to go out of Romania, you know what country he's moving to? Or what city? Dubai.
Oh, okay.
So he's had many Emiratis offer to help him. So when you ask what's Andrew's opinion on Israel and Gaza and Palestinians, I don't think Andrew has many Jewish friends or people he kicks it with. I don't think he's anti-Jew or anti-Israel, or at least
I think it is.
But as far as when I've interviewed him, he never gave me that impression. Zero. But he did align with the Arab world. Cool, nothing wrong with that. But October 7th has made people take sides. And for whatever reason, he's taken the side of the people in Gaza, the Palestinians. He's called Hamas freedom fighters, I believe. He said, one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. And to be completely honest with you, I haven't spoken with him about this subject. Will I? Will we? Maybe. But we've done only one-on-one interviews with him in person.
Right.
So it's not like I'm interviewing him via Zoom.
Yeah.
Right? I know you do things. So
Yeah.
am I disappointed to see him not see him sort of equivocate Hamas with Israel and the idea? But does that make me dislike him? No. Do we have a difference of opinion? No. Do I dislike Bassem Youssef? No. Do we differ in opinion? For sure.
Right.
So it's a nuanced discussion there. But for the most part, I can't judge someone on one opinion they have on a certain topic. You have to use sort of the entire
repertoire. So I totally hear that. It does lead in a little bit to what I wanted to ask you, because obviously Tate's entire way of dealing with the issue with the femininity is more like, right, he was trying to establish the ground rules again for how a man should operate, etc., and just push back on this whole idea of men being emasculated and having women become the men of the home and all that bullshit, right?
Which has a lot of legitimacy in today's modern feminist movement. Yes.
I always give that legitimacy to the death. There's nothing I would agree with more. Trust me, I'm a masculine dude. I have a way of, I'm all in that camp. With that being said, his result and answer to that is, make yourself the most powerful man you can be, land as many chicks as you can be. There's no question a significant amount of arrogance that comes, and not that he's arrogant necessarily in person, because I've never been with him in person, but the way to deal with it is very much materialistic and focused on how much of a macho person you can become, as opposed to, I think, while all those things are important, right? I do believe becoming a great man in many different areas are extremely important. I think everyone should excel for all those things, but it's not letting those things get lost in a bigger picture as well, such as having a family and a lot of other things that are more important, honestly, than what car you drive, what chick you have, all these things. Honestly, I do believe what kind of family you put together, what kind of wife you choose, what kind of father you are, your character traits. I legitimately think those are more important than any of the things that Tate talks about. First of all, I'm curious if you agree with that. But second of all, you mentioned before grandkids, this, that. You're single, 43, right? Mm-hmm. What's your, do you want to have a family? Is that something that's super important to you? And what would be your thoughts on what I just said regarding Tate?
Well, I'll address the second part first. 1,000,000% I'm going to have a family and kids. That's not even a question. I told you earlier I was briefly engaged, almost married, yada, yada. I had a mulligan marriage. The second girl that I was with the girl after the marriage situation was a girl that we were living together. We were madly in love, and she got cancer. It was crazy, yeah. 24 years old, leukemia. It was insane.
Holy shit.
She was a model, fit.
You mentioned
Yeah, it was the most insane thing ever. But when one door closes, another door opens. We were together until basically COVID started. She moved back up to Michigan. She was getting treatment, chemo at University of Michigan. And we were I was going up every month, visiting. Like I lived
eventually.
She moved down and she lived in Miami with me. And it was that was a difficult time. While she was dealing with cancer, my father passed away. So that, the compound effect on that, I went into like a depression. And I'm like usually the happy-go-lucky, what up, bro? How we doing? I'm like, what is happening? Every year it was crazy, and I'll circle it back into Tate and myself and PBD and family, and I'll tie this all together. Every year in November, I would see PBD at this business conference. We met in 2012, and every year I would see him at this conference. This would have been in 2019, November. I said, PBD, in Dallas, because every year it's either in Florida or in Texas, this conference. I said, I'm in Dallas for the conference. Are you going to be there? And he goes, this is the first year I'm actually not going. I said, well, I'm going to be in Dallas, and I don't know, for whatever reason, man, I need to talk to you. And I'm going to come and skip out on the conference and come visit you at your office in Dallas. He goes, okay.
You were good friends with him based on the previous
We
6
were,
years?
yeah, it's like if I met you this year, but then I saw you every year in November for 10 years. It's like we have a relationship at that point. We're doing business. We're in the podcast world. We're in the business world. But it wasn't like he was like my best friend or anything like that. We were colleagues. I said, something tells me I just need to come talk to you, bro. He goes, come on by. And he says, I heard about your girl. I heard about your dad on social media, what have you. He goes, just want to let you know I'm here for you. And, if you're ever looking to do something, maybe we can figure something out. I say, cool. Let's see where this goes from here. That's in November 2019. We know what happens in 2020. COVID comes around. Now I can't go back up to Michigan to see my girl because
Can't even go anywhere.
COVID. It can't even go there. Like she's doing chemo treatment. That's not an option out the door. I'm sitting in my fucking sick loft penthouse apartment in downtown Miami that my girl lived with me, that my dad would always be there. And I'm just sitting there freaking depressed. So I say, I'm sitting here in Miami just like, what the hell am I doing in my life? I thought I was gonna marry this girl. I thought that, this was gonna happen, but it didn't. And when one door closes, another door opens. If that opportunity, if COVID didn't happen, I would have probably moved to Michigan and been with my girl, and that would have been my story. Adam nurses his chemo girlfriend back to health, and she's doing great now, and
she is, thank God.
We're still friends and cool, but that wasn't
Meant to be.
the path for me. The path for me was, I got to get the hell out of Miami. I'm depressed. I've never dealt with depression in my life, and I moved to Dallas and I team up with PBD. Cool. And PBD, if you know anything about PBD, he's built his entire business on couples, married couples. His insurance business, PHP, all the top people, all the top earners, every single person up there, all the multimillionaires are all couples. He says, I only invest my time, my efforts, my money, my strategy in couples. Why? Because they take shit seriously. Single guy like you, who knows what you're doing on the weekends?
Yeah.
I said, well, thank God I don't work for PHP and I work for Valuetainment. So in one sense, I have Pat saying, get serious. You need to find a family. You know how to find a wife. You're not getting any younger, But at the same time, all my successful 35-year-old to 45-year-old friends in Miami are like, this is the prime of life, bro. We've got money, we've got access, we've got status, we've got network. It's it's kind of like you're in the prime and you hang them up. So what I'm saying is, 100%, I want to have a family, want to have kids, but it's also, I know what it is to, you ever been in love?
Yes.
Like love, like you would marry a girl?
Yes.
You've been there?
Sure.
I can't
You
say
have?
I love.
You don't sound convincing.
I mean, I don't know. I've definitely
Okay.
I've been infatuated before.
Infatuated, yeah.
Infatuated is different than love.
I find myself infatuated many weekends in South Beach, but love is different.
What's their numbers?
Yeah. In your bedroom, is that what you're referring? Is that the infatuation
Yeah.
space? Got
But
it. Okay.
to know what, like, oh, dude, I fucking love this girl. Like, there's a song, I want to know what love
Yes,
is.
of
Like,
course.
not that you want me to start crooning right now. I know the girl that I got engaged to, I know how much I love that girl, right? And then I knew how much I even more loved the other girl that got cancer. So my point is, and I tell this to Pat, there's girls in my life that if I asked them to, we could get married.
Right.
But until I'm in love, I'm gonna sit this one out and wait. But so that's where I'm at right now. Do I want to have kids? Do I want to have a family?
I hope you find. I'll tell you something. I hope that you find the girl that you not that I'm someone to give you
Yeah.
advice. God forbid. I'm not that guy. I'm not. I don't have enough hubris to say that or arrogance. I'm just saying. I hope that you find that girl that you love. This way, the decision's easy.
Yeah,
right? It's
that's-
obvious. But it's very
Yeah.
possible also that'll never ever come.
We'll
and
see.
You'll find the girl that you love, and then
That's
you will
that's
enter a
what
relationship,
life.
and you will love
Yes.
in the relationship.
That's what life is. But now,
So we're-
because I've been around Pat, because I have clarity, I know what the most important thing is. There was a time in my life where physical beauty was more important than internal beauty.
Right.
Outer beauty and inner beauty is totally different. So, as guys, we understand that I don't care how beautiful they are on the inside.
Yeah.
If you're not attracted to them
Yeah.
on the outside, it's a non-starter.
Yeah.
But now I'm a little more mature to understand that outer beauty is important, yes, but inner beauty is just as equally as important, especially values, principles, morals. Like that is so important as who is going to be the mother of my children.
yeah.
Super important. Now you asked a two-part question about Tate.
Yes.
And about his belief of feminism and family. What was that?
The question specifically, I mean, more I was just wanting to get your thoughts specifically, and the idea from that he clearly gives over. Again, it's very possible that I'll sit down and say something different. But the overarching, and he sort of did that in the first sit down, the 5-hour sit down on those brown leather couches.
Yeah.
Right. And some things he clarified, I totally understood before he even clarified them what he meant. But I'm saying in this scenario, overall, what he has given across, no question, what he's conveyed to his audience is that the way to deal with your problems is by becoming rich, as in Wolf of Wall Street concept. The way to deal with your problems is not the more wholesome things in life; it's the more materialistic things in life. I personally think that is, again, I'm not saying as a man not to go after those things. 100%, go be ambitious, go fucking build companies, go date beautiful women, but that should be, if there's a model of. If you have your funnel and you want to know what's the most important thing, I don't think that's what comes out of the funnel. I think it's the family, the wholesomeness that comes out.
I'm right there with you. I look, what I will say about Tate is I think a lot of what, at least the initial content that he was doing was sort of a caricature, almost like when The Rock played The Rock, Dwayne Johnson played The Rock, and you smell what The Rock is cooking. It's a caricature to get more views.
Whatever.
Now, at the same time, that is who he is.
Right, there's a truth to it. Right.
So, what's the most famous line that Andrew Tate has ever said? Well, what color is your Bugatti? Okay.
Right.
Do you have a more famous line?
No. I was just, okay yeah. No,
So, you're asking me my opinion on this. I haven't had a car in 12 years.
why not? What the fuck?
People think I'm insane.
Wow, how are you getting around Ubers?
I just Uber everywhere.
I-
Now, I bought my ex a car. Here's a car. I just don't like driving.
Good for you.
Could I buy a Bugatti? Yeah, I actually could. Do I want to spend all my money on a Bugatti? No.
Yeah.
I own a bar in South Beach.
Do you know?
Next to the...
Next to the Comedy Club, yeah.
You still own
So,
it?
yes.
Awesome.
So, I go out in Miami, you know, whether I like it or not, I'm gonna know someone at the club, someone's gonna give me a drink, someone's gonna have a bottle. The last thing I need to be doing is driving my Bugatti or my Maserati or my Porsche out in Miami. It's like nobody in New York questions people when they don't have cars, right?
I mean, where I live.
You live in
Miami,
Long
if
Island,
you
or where do you
live in the
live?
city- if you live in the
Live in the
city.
I live
city.
in Manhattan. No one has a car.
No one has a
I have
car.
in Manhattan.
Exactly. There you go. So, I call myself a millionaire minimalist. Okay, so I'm not a big material person. I'm not a big overspender. I'm a very simple dude, right?
Right.
And I judge life not by what you can acquire. You know, there was a thing back in the day that said, "He who dies with the most toys wins." You ever heard that phrase? It was a phrase pervasive in the 80s
I'll take it
when
with you, too.
Gordon Gekko and Wall Street and Greed is Good. Everything was happening with these movies. You've seen this thing,
Yeah,
And there was this, people that had bumper stickers on their cars that says, he who dies with the most toys wins, meaning house, cars, jet skis, boats, everything. But what people realize is that accumulation is not happiness. That debt is not how you want to live your life. I abide by the low overhead, high flexibility model, where financial freedom is not owning all these assets.
Plus, it's real estate debt-based assets that are cash flowing.
But that's a business asset, exactly. But a lot of it is
liability-based assets.
and sometimes even real estate debt isn't exactly the greatest thing
That's
ever.
how leveraged it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I'm never going to be the person that's going to talk to you about materialism and then getting the new car or the new clothes or the new watch or the new Benz is going to make you happy. I judge life in what I call the big three pillars of life: health, wealth, and happiness.
Mr. Ty Lopez adds one to that. No, doesn't he? Drop
What'd he say?
Ty is hilarious. What happened to him? He was like the thing. I mean, he owned the internet for a good 3 years.
Ty's back around. He's coming back
slowly
around.
getting back involved.
I think he made his money and he kind of disappeared and he's kind of coming back and he's got wisdom. Yeah, I've interviewed Ty before.
He's he's a fascinating character, that guy.
Ty's an interesting dude, bro. Ty's an interesting dude. But I got a lot of heat back in the day when I said, I don't know if you guys know this, but Andrew Tate has kids. And that was sort of like a secret. Okay. Did you know that?
I didn't, but okay. I mean,
yeah, but this was a secret. People, you can't talk about his kids. I'm like, he said it before online.
So why can't you talk about it?
Exactly. I'm like, why am I getting heat? They go, but you said how many kids he has. I'm like, all right. And people were like, how you snaked Andrew Tate? I'm like, he talks
Is
about
it private information or not?
Regardless, what I would tell you about Tate, he's a family man, but he just has multiple wives or multiple baby mamas.
Multiple family, man.
Multiple families in different places. So I think, the Israel thing aside, he does a lot of good for society.
The Israel thing, these thoughts that I have, by the way, are not just based off the Israel thing. I had these thoughts beforehand. These are just my own observations. I think he did great work surrounding, pushing back against the feminist thing, which, by the way, the person who did it before him was Donald Trump, and it was so necessary for Trump. Us conservatives were getting demolished before Trump came around and was the first person to look at cancel culture and say, fuck you, directly to his face. You can take my ties out of Macy's and you can try doing whatever you want. I'm going to get up there. I'm going to say what I want about the Mexicans at the border. Get up there and whatever. That was the first time they tried canceling him again and again and again, if you remember, during the 2016 election.
Yeah.
And everyone up till then, it was when the Me Too movement was going on. It was that whole thing where people were just dropping like flies. And he was the first person who just said, I'm not apologizing. Because everyone went and apologized as if it would get them off the hook. And then Trump basically realized, in my opinion, apologizing just gives them validity and they don't forgive you anyway.
There's a lot of wisdom in that. There's a lot of wisdom in that. And then when you're in the moment,
it's scary as fuck.
It's scary as
tough.
fuck.
It's tough. Trust me, it is tough. I tell people this all the time, by the way. It is tough when you're in that moment to if you did something these people are not in it for your benefit. Trust me, they want their own thing.
Like I mentioned before, equilibrium. The pendulum always swings. America's basically bipolar. Every 4 to 8 years, we elect a Republican and then a Democrat, and we go back. Hope, change, hope. Republican, Democrat. Yeah. Every 4 to 8 years, we go crazy. So, if you told me 4 years ago after January 6th that Trump is going to be the next president of the United States, I'd say that's insane.
I had a whole lot
But all that we're seeing, that he's going to be the guy.
You know what's fascinating? I had an argument with someone that I'm close with. First of all, I predicted that he was going to win. I bet on it in 2016 against Hillary. It was very obvious that it was going to be very close, much closer than the media was showing.
Yeah.
If you looked at any single comment section, the greatest polls of all time are the top comments on any YouTube video, and any Facebook post, and any Instagram post. It shows you, yes, it shows you genuinely what has the most likes, right? The top comment, people could like the top comment. Then there's the second comment, the third comment. The one that has the most likes is typically public general opinion.
Got
So
it.
You can go and pretty much put together a basic algorithm of what the general...
Great point.
Yes, it's very obvious, and me and my friends, we put this together, and we were looking, especially as it got closer and closer, and it was very obvious that he was right there. So he was close, but specifically with Trump, I remember after... Donald Trump's secret, in my opinion, people do not realize this, if you want to know and you really pay attention, is that he never, ever gives up. And what that affords him is that the minute there's an opportunity for him to get back into something, he's there ready and waiting when most people have already given up because conventional wisdom would have already told them to give up, okay? But the minute Afghanistan happens and Biden fucks it up royally, he is right there because he's the one guy who never gave up. And he's able to say, well, this never happened. And then he just keeps on going. You eventually just forget about what happened because he's always just jumping on those things. And I said, people were saying how DeSantis was going to win the primaries because it was like Trump announced it early. This is like a year and a half, 2 years ago. And I was like, no, Donald Trump has, at this point, there's no conventional wisdom and conventional understanding that could explain how he gets to where he gets. So before we count him out again, and start saying, oh, we know totally he's not going to be able to make it, slow your roll and start figuring out how he won the 2016 election.
Yeah.
He came out before the election and said, I grabbed women by and he fought that off. To me, just wait and see what happens.
There's nobody like Donald Trump, period. Nobody could do what he's doing.
Yes.
Whether you like him
Correct.
or hate him, there's nobody like him.
But I'm also saying there's no predictability to it. It doesn't make sense. It almost is
He's a train wreck. You can't look away.
It doesn't make sense.
Look, for the podcast world, we're all praying that Donald Trump gets elected because it's 4 years of content.
I loved, by the way, I just say one thing. There were certain eras, again, I said this earlier, there were certain eras that I loved. The Wade LeBron era in Miami, those 4 years, that's going to be with me my entire life. Just that whole Bosh, Wade, that chaos, right? LeBron leaving Cleveland. Then the next era is the Trump era right now. I mean, it is the Hillary, Trump, I hosted debate parties. It was fucking chaos. But this time, it's like reality TV. We're going into the third season right now. It's it's scary that America...
You're putting the LeBron 2012 decision,
not the
2010
decision itself, those 4 years.
Yes.
Those were an era of my life. I was...
I think that was 2010 through 2014. Yeah.
That was an incredible era for me.
Why is
I'm
that?
a huge basketball fan.
Okay, gotcha.
I mean, that was the first time there was ever such a thing as a super team, really. I mean, you could argue the Celtics were, but it wasn't the same exact thing. I mean, that was must-watch TV, LeBron leaving Cleveland. I mean, to me, if you were a basketball guy, and that was fun. That was the whole world was against the Heat.
Can I tell you a quick story with that?
Please.
I got married because of LeBron, basically.
How the hell did that happen?
So, 2010, I'm living in downtown Miami, in a condo, right across from the Miami Heat arena.
Okay.
And it was right around the time that Humphreys was, I told you, I lived right there, the Blue Diamond,
Yes,
right there.
yes.
Right there. We're sitting at the Blue Diamond, and it must have been 2010, 2011 at the most. And we watched the decision.
Yes.
I'm with an NBA basketball player. His agent is one of my best friends, Josh and Chris and our crew. And we're watching the decision, and we don't know what the hell's going on here. And, we know Wade's camp here in Miami. I'm one of my best friends is best friends with Wade. We know these people. And we're all sitting there being watching the decision. He's there with Jim Gray.
Yes.
And he goes, this summer, I plan on taking my talents to South Beach. Oh, shit. I'm like, fuck yeah. Miami. Then Bosh signs. Wade takes a pay cut, whatever. The super team comes about. And then they give the speech. Not one, not two, not three, not four. Right. So they lose the first year. They win the next two, and then they lose the fourth year.
The fourth year.
They win 2 out of 4, right? But in that time in Miami, the fanfare,
The energy.
the chaos,
Yeah.
the energy, the debauchery.
Electric.
It was electric.
Yeah, I sat courtside.
And during that escapade, in 2012, my best friend, the guy Chris Humphries, marries Kim Kardashian.
Right.
LeBron James is the most hated man in the NBA by far in every poll.
America, maybe.
Okay? That summer of 2012, October of 2012, my buddy marries Kim Kardashian, and I'm a groomsman in the wedding. I'm walking down Chloe. I'm partying with Lamar and Scott Disick, and we're in Vegas. We're in Mexico at Joe Francis' house, the creator of Girls Gone Wild, and we're doing this. I'm like, pinch me fucking right now.
Yeah.
So you're like, how that was a big 4 years of your life. I'm like, yeah. Me too there. So I'm out at Club Live, because I'm with Kim Kardashian, and like this is like what we were doing at the time. And I meet a girl, and I was like, hey, what's up? She's this gorgeous British girl, whatever. I end up getting engaged to the girl in my party phase. And I'm just starting to make money. Like that whole LeBron years, you ask anybody in Miami, it was, on top of that, by the way, Swedish house mafia is coming out there. House music's EDM is taking over.
Yeah. So why are you surprised
Ultra.
that I said that's...
Because you weren't even living in Miami at that point.
Oh, that's what you're saying. I hung out here, first of all, a whole bunch.
Okay,
And
all right. I didn't know.
I did live here for a year.
You did?
Yes. Like a schmuck, when I moved here, it was the year LeBron left, but that's all.
Okay, gotcha.
Why do you think LeBron left?
I was
Why do you think LeBron left?
I was here for a month when he announced he was going back to Cleveland.
But no, that whole year, and Live is like the #1 nightclub in the country, in the world possibly. But that's where they would all party.
Yeah.
And I remember being there when they won the championship. Like, if you get to the cluster at Live, you've kind of like made it in Miami. That's where everything is carte blanche. Everything's free. The who's who is in there. And I remember like when you're talking about this thing, but LeBron and Wade, what they brought to Miami was insane. And then gone.
Yeah. Such a
Gone.
buzzkill.
And then they picked
Wade
up.
was done his career at that point. I mean, by 2014.
Wade was good, and then he came back. But the good thing was, then they signed my boy, one of my closest friends, Kelly Olynyk, to the Heat. You know who that is?
I can't stand him. He's the one that fucked up
Kevin Love's shoulder.
What the fuck was wrong with that?
One of my best friends.
Really?
Yeah.
Kelly.
You guys went to high school?
Kelly.
I don't like you. They should have won.
Yeah.
By the way, they would have won that finals. I stand by this. If Love or...
Who, the Cavs?
Yes. If Love or Kyrie did not get hurt, they were up. They went up 2-1 after...
Injuries are a part of basketball, bro. They're part of
I still think they would
sports.
have won. That's what I'm saying.
Well, that's every finals team ever though. Like the team they would have played would have. There's injuries part of the playoffs. It shifts the.
Nicest guy ever, though.
Oh, I'm sure.
Olynyk.
I don't think. I mean, sports. I mean, you're on the court. You're on the court. I don't think that.
When he moved to Miami, he didn't have a place to stay, so he crashed on my couch. This guy just signed a 4-year, $50 million deal. He's like, "Yo, Adam, can I just crash at your
It's
apartment?"
like Jeremy Lin before he was.
Straight up.
Except for the
problem
fact
is
that he had the money.
he had the money.
So why the fuck didn't he just
He's
take
just
it?
minimalist, bro.
Get the hell out of here.
He
Sorry.
wanted to stay with the boys.
There's a
Want to
level
stay with the
of-
boys, exactly.
Yeah.
Can I,
one other thing. Yeah, go ahead. Don't
Sorry, can I ask you a couple things about like because we've spoken a lot about like masculinity and like a lot of people. You have like girls come on your show a lot and complain about like how the guy has become emasculated. I'm curious what your thoughts are because like you speak about how you grew up, you were prom king, captain of the basketball team, captain of the football team. In our society, there's basically like for a guy to get confidence, to become alpha, to become masculine, there's like either he's good at sports or he's good looking. Like if he doesn't have those two things, it's very difficult. What would you like advise someone raising kids that has sons that they want to raise with confidence to that don't have those two things?
You
First of all,
know,
if you have smarts,
Not
exactly. Well, you know how I said like there's the big 3 pillars of life: health, wealth, and happiness. I'm a big believer of the rule of 3. You familiar with the rule of 3? Keep it simple, stupid. You don't need 100 different things you got to focus on. 3, 6, 10. Like keep it simple. So when it comes to a man, number 1 for competence, competence turns into confidence. So unless you become good at something, why would you rather have confidence? There's people that have irrational confidence, psychopaths who think they're great, but they've never done anything. I'm talking about actually doing something will lead to confidence. But there's big 3 that I talk about that how men are judged. And if you're in the top 10% of any of these three things, you're going to do great. If you're 2 out of 3 of these 3 things, you're going to be incredible. If you're 3 out of 3, you're going to take over the world. What are those 3 things? You talked about it. Number 1 is looks and physique. You know, if you're a man's man, if you're in shape and you have a good physique and you dress well and you look well and you carry yourself well, you're going to get noticed by women specifically, but also by other men. All right, this guy's got some shit going on, right? Like, he's a man's man. Like, you've seen a guy, you're like, oh, this guy's a fucking stud. Dresses well, carries himself well, super important. Number 2, money. You know, we're talking about not being materialistic and not being a consumer, but at the same time, money makes the world go round. You know, name me someone who you look up to, name me someone who you admire, name me somebody that's made it who's broke.
Bernie Sanders, he's a big proponent. He's not.
Bernie Sanders is actually a multi-billionaire, exactly. But he hates rich people. You know, with the exception of Gandhi, with the exception of like MLK or somebody that would have been a multi-millionaire being assassinated, anyone you look up to in the sports world, in the business world, the political world,
Has a lot of money.
has money.
They've mastered finances. They may just be more known for something else.
Exactly.
That's pretty much what it is.
So, and then it's no secret that men are judged by their status and women are judged by their looks. It is what it is. Men are by their resources, so money. But number 3, like Leibel talked about, is your personality and your character. Now, there's plenty of guys who aren't the best looking guy or the richest guys, but they're funny as shit. I used to do stand-up comedy. I owned a comedy club. Believe me, there's dudes out there that are getting laid because they're hilarious.
For sure.
There's people that you respect because they're genuine. Because are we talking about we're talking about respected amongst men or amongst women? It's a big difference. But women, if you're the romantic guy, if you're the sweet guy, if you're the rough guy, you know, or any type of personality, you just own that personality. So growing up, there was this show. They called it like the art of the pickup artist, something like a PUAs, and they would talk about peacocking. You familiar with this term?
No.
Like what?
Where like guys would have to, you know, when you go out, wear like a crazy scarf
To get attention.
Wear a hat, paint your nails, and that'll get attention. That was never my thing.
You need that shit.
Huh?
If you're confident, what do you need that shit for?
Some guys do that.
Right.
So if you ever see a guy in a club who's wearing a weird fucking hat or a scarf, he's peacocking.
So it's just a lack of security. Like that's my.
There's certain things. There was a book called The Game by Neil Strauss back in the day, and you know one of their techniques was negging a woman and like basically like belittling her, but not in a mean way, in a joking way. You know, women. Everyone knows that women can't drive and they get upset, whatever. Like, but the point is that's part of the game. So money, looks, and game, and however you want to define game as personality or morals and principles and conviction. If you're in the top 10% of any of those 3 things, you're gonna do great. But if you're super good looking guy and super wealthy and genuinely a good dude, you're literally unstoppable.
I agree. I've been telling you this for years. No, I'm sure.
No, I'm curious.
So you're a good looking dude. Just go hit the gym, go make some fucking money, and talk to me in 5 years.
All right, I'll call you in 5
I
years.
told him if he hangs around, then we.
I think that there are like something, again, like watching your show, something that comes up a lot with the girls you have on is they think guys nowadays lack a certain amount of confidence.
Because they do, because they're right.
Those same girls, like they talk about how they want the guys to come up, buy them a drink in a bar. They want them to like approach them and just like be masculine. Those same girls, if guys that they don't find cute or if they don't find cool do that, they'll be like, oh, he's such a creep. Why would he ask me out? So like,
yes.
So
Both things are true.
but it's not really the confidence then. They don't actually want a confident guy. They want a cool, hot guy that is also confident. Like,
I will say this. I know plenty of guys that are dating women that you would think, why is that chick with him? Now he has one of those 3 things. He either has a lot of money, his personality is either off the fucking chain, or there's something going on with him physically that the women are interested in, right? Whatever it is. I'll let you leave that to your imagination.
He has glasses, you're saying.
You know, what's that?
Good vision.
Of course. So, but it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. relentless and resilient, and
And
just because this girl's not interested doesn't mean this girl's not interested.
Also, I'll be honest, I've not had nearly as much experience with women as you. I'll say that, but for myself,
You label? No.
I'm just saying, like, no, for myself, I also think people complicate it way too fucking much. Like, people are like discussing pickup lines. I'm like, dude, fuck your pickup lines, all right? Get yourself together, work hard,
Yes.
put together something, like, chill the fuck out, like, go have a good time, like, be comfortable walking over to a woman and just saying, hey, this is my name, nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. Just, like, be able to ease into things. But, like, I don't think it needs, like, as much I think it's just so much anxiety that happens with people that it's just, like, there's just a level of security and confidence, I think, that just goes into it.
I will give one caveat, though, and here's where I'm going to agree with you, but also give you a little pushback. Depends who the fuck you are. Because what's happened, what's ruined dating in modern America or in the world? The one single component that has ruined dating. You know what it is?
Social media?
Social media.
Okay.
I was gonna ask
All
you
the
that.
dating apps, all the social media.
But what does that have to do with what I said?
I'll tell you. Because now women get all the attention they'll ever need on Instagram, on Bumble, on what are the
And that's like they're getting off.
Okay.
One guy I interviewed, Coach Greg Adams, he said, you got to understand this, bro. Women want your meat. I said, what did you just say? He goes, every woman wants your meat. Your money, your energy, your attention, and your time. MEAT. I said, oh, that's true. So now, in the OnlyFans Instagram culture, the simps are giving them the money, giving them all the energy, giving them all the attention, and giving them the time. So you have to be that dude that's like, yeah, I'm good on you. I've got so much going on. I don't have time or attention for you. But that's only if that's actually true. Like if you're some big, fat, schleppy loser broke and you kind of are like, yeah, I don't have time for you, girl. She doesn't want your time. So what's happening with social media, and this is my point, 20% of guys that women are doing will get a like. 80% of women. So the numbers are crazy on the women's side.
Yes, well, social media, Tinder, online dating has made it that the top 10% of women have gotten way more opportunity because I think the numbers are like 90% of the matches are for the top 10% of women. Like something wild.
Top 10% of men.
But same thing. I mean, yeah. It's,
No. 80% of women are getting attention on social media. Obviously, the hottest girls are going to get more. But you give me a 4 woman, 1 through 10, you give me a 4, dudes are sliding in her DM. You give me a 4 dude, nobody's talking to that dude.
no, for sure.
Right.
And this goes on to the sexual market value hypergamy chart. If you can look at it, you can Google it right now. If you go 1 through 10, because we all know a dude who's a fucking stud, he's a 9, he's a 10, and one night he'll get drunk, he'll bang that 5. We know that guy.
Yes.
Yes?
Even though
Okay.
I'll make fun of that guy for the next 2 years, but yeah.
But that guy will go turn around and go get with a 10 the next night. He doesn't care. I've seen guys like this.
Yes.
It's true confidence.
That guy doesn't, it's a one night thing. But that guy's not gonna date the 5. So now that girl, there's a term for it where it's called alpha widowed. Where that 4, that
That's her new
5,
standard.
where she's like, I can get Leo.
Right.
I can date George Clooney. No, he just you one time. So now that girl in her mind,
He was just incredibly drunk.
yes, now that girl in her mind says, I'm worthy of these guys. And now a nice guy comes up who's totally should be in her wavelength.
Yeah, and
she's
turns him
like,
down.
I banged Leo. And I get attention online because I can go catfish guys, pick up my titties, do some extensions of my hair, do my makeup. Nobody sees my acne. I just face-tuned everything. I slim-waisted everything. Online, I'm an 8. But in real life, I'm a 4. I'm getting all the attention. You're so hot, you're so hot, you're so hot, you're so hot. The average dude is getting 0 attention. So there's a false sense of greatness that is being sort of pervasive around women. And at some point, here's what's going to happen. Here's the answer. Is that, I interviewed a lot of the red pills guys and everyone in this world. And I have a little bit more perspective than some of the guys that are sort of my counterparts, but especially the women. because, you know, me and my buddies who are in our late 30s, early 40s, we're still out and about in the scene doing our thing. And, you know, Matthew McConaughey has a famous line in the movie, Dazed and Confused. You know the line where he says, you know, I get older, but they stay the same age.
Right.
I've heard this before. Let me tell you something. If I see girls I went to high school with still out in the club at 40-something years old, I'm like, why are you here?
Right.
If you're still single, you've made drastically horrible
why do
decisions
you
in your
see
life,
yourself-
or you've already been divorced.
So why do you see yourself? I'm just gonna ask it. Not that I. Why is the double standard okay? In your opinion?
Because there is an actual double standard. Because, to quote Matthew
We were just talking about
McConaughey,
this.
Yeah, we
okay,
did a spoof.
there
on your
is a
podcast.
double standard where because, and I'll just say it, I was on the phone with a girl right before I got off here. She's 24 years old.
Right, you can date that. Yeah, done.
She doesn't have to date me. I'm not holding her hostage.
Right.
She's genuinely dating me because she's into me, and I'm dating her because I'm into her.
Right.
No
It'll never work the other way,
42-year-old woman
Get a 20. Yeah.
is dating, like, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Now, factor in the fact that if you want to have kids, factor in the fact that if you want to have multiple kids,
Right.
men and women are drastically different. I had a public
Why do you think
feud
there's such-
with Chelsea Handler on this exact topic.
She's insane. I mean, she's proud
insane.
of the fact that she has
She's a
kids.
proud, lonely woman.
Yeah, she's miserable.
Now, if you're Chelsea Handler, good for you because you can wipe your tears with dollar bills and drink vodka and get all the best drugs in the world. But I see women in their late 30s, early 40s, and I ask them point blank, "You're gorgeous. What the fuck happened to you?"
Yeah.
And there's always some, you know, sob story. But at the end of the day, there's going to be a whole glutton of women who have been fed this feminist BS
Yeah.
that you don't need no man, that the future is female, who run the world, girls, and they're going to end up at 40 years old.
Yeah, 100%.
And God forbid I see them in the club, I'm going to ask them nicely to leave.
Yeah.
You should have been home with your husband.
So what's the reason why you think there's been, is it just the woke mind virus, why there's this ridiculous push to believe that that we have to justify the double standard rather than accept it for what the metaphysics are about how the world was created?
Well, you kind of answered it yourself when you
say
said
it's the
Trump. When you said Trump said, "Fuck you, I'm not apologizing." Right? When Andrew Tate says, "No,
This is the way it is.
men and women are different. Sorry."
But I'm asking where the push came from, like originally. Like, why are they so not okay with the actual facts of how the world is? Like, if you're a rational thinking person, you look at this as just like, it's an obvious thing. There are differences between men and women, and if you want to call that a double standard, okay, and then that's what it is. It's a double standard, but that's life. Like,
Leibel,
why is that there?
this is a great question, and because this is exactly what we're in the midst of right now today. The pendulum swung so far that there's corrections and then there's overcorrections. What are some corrections? Okay, let's go down the list here.
At least women can work.
What's that?
You're saying some good things that have come from it, obviously.
Okay, so black people, they couldn't vote. They didn't have civil rights. The civil rights movement, justified.
Of course.
Correction. Okay, overcorrection. BLM.
Yeah.
Right? George Floyd, everything that happened with the protests, burning down cities. Guys, little much.
Yeah.
And then it took black people to be like, I don't stand for this shit. I'm not going to defund the police. I need the police in certain neighborhoods. Okay. Women, politically, we've seen it with money. We've seen it in every single category here. With women, there was the subjugation of women, and the feminist movement does have legitimacy. The right to vote, to women's suffrage, to work in the workplace, cool. But the future is female, that women don't need a man, that go ahead and work, be boss babes, that's gonna make you happy. All of a sudden, those women, the oldest millennial women that were fed this nonsense, you know how old the oldest millennial is now?
35?
Fucking my age, 43 years old. 1980.
When does it end? What am
1980 to 1995 is basically the beginning and the end of the millennials.
So I'm right now, I still fall within that.
What year are you?
I'm 94.
I'm 96.
I'm the oldest millennial.
I'm the
You're the youngest millennial.
He's 96.
No, you're not even the youngest millennial. You're what year?
1 year shy of that. I'm 94.
No,
Okay, so you're one of the youngest millennials and you're one of the oldest Gen Z. How old are you?
96.
Exactly. Wow. The coming of age happened
Like
at
after
9/11. If you're old enough to remember 9/11, You're the youngest millennial. If you're
That's the line I always use when
So right now, what's happening is
You don't remember 9/11, probably.
you were born in what year?
It's one of my earlier memories.
You were born in '96, so you're 5 years old. Probably not. So that's the cusp. That's the generation. But to answer your question, what I think the next backlash we are going to see is a barrage of women that said, "I'm 40. I was lied to. I screwed up. I wish that I had kids."
My problem is, you can't fix that mistake. You're dying without kids. Like, that's sad.
But you asked about the double standard, right?
Yeah.
If I wanted to go impregnate multiple women tonight with my guy Dovey, we could. And that's the double standard.
You don't believe it, you can do it with me. you know I would say no.
I don't believe you want to. You're a mensch.
That's what I was
Dovey's got
the funniest thing.
Dovey's got a little something going on in there. You know, he's got a little something going on.
I love it.
Well, and I watched the podcast with my friend Emily Austin, and you're like, "I'm here for one reason. Miss Columbia's phone number." I said, "This guy."
It?
Yeah.
I didn't know you watched it.
I had a hard time. By the way,
I had to do my research on you guys.
I love it. It was solid. I enjoyed it.
But that's good.
I wish you were in studio back in New York. I
We'll
mean,
do a round 2 when I'm
I
in New
know
York.
that you enjoy this place. I definitely.
I had a hard time giving Emily pushback because of that. Label's like, "Why don't you
Yeah.
ask her this?" I'm like, "She's so pretty." I don't know.
Yeah.
Too quick. Yeah,
Emily's
and I
good.
was just like, dude, like, I'm in business mode. Like, I don't care how hot the woman is that's sitting across from me.
But here's the thing. This goes down to a man. You know, the great thing about capitalism is having options. The great thing about becoming that dude, that you know, the guy's guy, you know, what they call a high value man or a man of status is the guy that other guys want to be and the guy that girls want to be. Pretty much what it is. But beautiful women, awesome women. But like, I treat Emily like a homie. But
she's great. She's
great.
like,
But the
super
point
winning.
is, you're not simping for all. Once you have abundance, whether it's with money, whether it's with friends, whether it's with women, you're never thirsty.
So it will naturally cause
They're
you to act the way
naturally
that's
just gonna, and all of a sudden, you're familiar with the story. I know we got to wrap up.
I mean, that's your personal opinion.
You're familiar with the story of the. Is it the 11th man or the 12th man? You ever heard this story? I'll give you the long and short of it. The 12th man is more football, so maybe it's the 11th man, maybe it's the 13th man. Anyway, we'll figure it out. These 12 men are in a bar, and there's one woman.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar.
Are you familiar with this one?
This is the one guy who waits, right?
And every guy goes up and shoots their shot with the girl, and one dude is just kind of minds his own business, and he's different, and he treats the girl different, and he gets up, lights a cigarette, looks at the girl, walks out the bar, and just leaves. And the girl's been hit on by every other guy in the bar, and all of a sudden she gets up, she walks out the bar, and she goes to him while he's still standing outside, and he goes, "Why were you the only guy that didn't come talk to me?" He goes, "Didn't feel the need to." She goes, "Well, what's your name?" The rest is history.
Of course, yeah.
But if every guy is doing this, it's called blue ocean strategy. Be different.
Yeah, it's hard to get. Yeah, if you can find the blue ocean, then you're gold. That in general, business also.
Correct.
That's what this podcast is, by the way, in case you didn't realize. First of all, did you see? I'm saying we got the Malgain David, of course.
You got the Star of David.
Yeah, of course, right?
Okay. Why wouldn't it be there?
We fucking ironed that thing in. 2 quick questions. I know what you
Yeah.
have to roll. The first thing I wanted to ask you is, what's your relationship like with Patrick? Like, what type of guy is he? Number one, what's your relationship with him?
With PBD?
Tell him by the way he's No, I've had. He one time put on his thing, Patrick. 1 second. He put on his story. Let me find it. He put a story like, he put this whole thing, right?
Schwarzman, $30 billion guy, monster. I think he's the Blackstone guy. BlackRock is Larry Fink.
Right, whatever.
Yeah.
Schwarzman's my type of guy. Read his book, the way he breaks down what his fears were when he's going through a divorce. He explains the concept of hiring tens. And then read Hastings from Memphis.
Okay, anyways, right? So I sent them a message. Whatever, I sent them. For business, the book is right there. Stephen Schwartzman's greatest book I've ever read. It's
How to Invest? Which book? Oh, that's David Rubenstein.
No.
David
yeah,
Rubenstein
Steve-
was How to Invest.
Yes.
Who are you interviewing at the time?
Basically, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
Patrick posted this thing about how Steven Schwartz is this type
Yes.
of guy, and he says he wants to hire 10s.
Yes.
So I wrote to him, just because this is how I operate, on the spot, I wrote to him, I'm a 10, I can tell you this with absolute certainty. In fact, I just spoke about this book on my podcast that day, which I did. I actually did.
Yeah.
And
Did he respond?
This guy asked me, okay, what's the best book? It was on the Bashevkin pod. He asked me what the best book I've ever read is. And I wrote, it happened to be that morning I had written, he's asking me. For business, the book is right there, Steven Schwartzman's greatest book I've ever read.
What's the name of the book?
It's called The Pursuit of Excellence.
Okay, gotcha.
Incredible. It's just, Patrick's referring to it, and he says it in the book, and I actually apply this. It was a very eye-opening thing. I was looking, it was my first hire, right? This is about a year and a half ago, maybe a little more, and I was looking for someone really, really talented. And I was going back and forth in my head.
In what business?
Well, for both. I do real estate and
Okay,
I have
gotcha.
a podcast. So I was looking for someone just very talented. Like, I like people that are, Anyways, I was debating, going back and forth. I know the type of person that I really want is like expensive, like that's the bottom line. And I also know that like that was my first hire ever, and like to go and throw real money, we're talking 6 figures. That's scary. I could easily get away. Most people like hiring 65, 70, whatever. And I wasn't sure what to do, and I was speaking to different friends, and most of them were saying like, dude, just give the 65, 70, you'll get someone good. And I was reading this book at the time. I was like, read before I go to sleep sometimes. And he writes that he built his company Blackstone, and he only hires 10. And 110, he says, is as good as 5 8s and 3 9s.
Wow.
110. And right there, my mind was settled. I'm like, I'm doing what I do. I'm hiring legit. And it was the best decision I made to date with this podcast and with real estate. It's just like this person is incredible. So, like, you want someone, in my opinion, you want someone, I think, in business that when you are like thinking like, you're thinking, can I get a coffee? The person's like, oh, by the way, here's a coffee. Like, it's a step ahead of you. Like you don't even think, boom, it's there. And that's very hard to find, because a lot of people that are very talented want to do their own thing. So to find someone that's like invested in fully invested in your agenda, like
When did that book come out?
This is 2 years old.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Read this, by the way. You will fucking love
The Pursuit
this.
of Excellence, Steven Schwartzman.
I'm not kidding. I read this in one sitting. I'm not like a reader. Like this is not something I like. Trust me, I can't sit still. And like nowadays, especially with the digital world, we're like, why the fuck would I read something? I could just watch in 10 minutes. What you can read. This book, excellent. I love it. PBD. He didn't respond, by the way. Just FYI.
Okay. Well, we'll clip this. We'll send it to him.
Oh, of course.
But you
Absolutely.
asked about PBD, but
Yeah, your relationship.
well, I'll answer this part real quick. I've noticed that whatever he read, that's why I asked when he wrote it, because PBD in the last 12 months, 24 months, has only been hiring 10s.
Oh, there you go.
And it's been apparent. Like, I've seen the people that we've brought in, because I've been with Pat since 2020. We're in 2024 now, for Valuetainment specifically.
It's a game changer.
And I've seen who we've hired over the last couple of years, or the last 12 months, versus the first couple of years, and there is a difference.
Oh, for sure.
A 10 can do 5 people's jobs.
Yes.
A 7 or an 8 can become a 10. Do you want to wait that time? But can a 4 become a 10?
I don't even know if I feel.
Everyone's has a ceiling.
That's like when
And
they
a
tell
floor.
you the girl gets prettier as you get
Yeah.
to know them. You're like, a 7.5 can become an 8, a 6 is not becoming a 10.
But it depends on what the 10 is. If you're, because there's hard skills and there's soft skills. You can see what hard skills are,
yes, no.
what their grades, what their intellect, what their smart is. How do you judge heart? How do you judge resilience? How do you judge the ability to bounce back after a loss?
Well, 10 has all those things. They have both.
That's my point. But you can only see the hard skills. You can only see the resume. You've been around people
No, it's definitely
where
tough.
everything on the surface, you're like, this person can be great. And then when shit hits the fan,
They're not there. Yeah.
there's something, they crumble.
Yeah.
So you're not going to know that until you go to battle somebody.
I do love, I think a large part actually of what you're saying, specifically the molding aspect with kids, younger kids. Like you'll see a 22, 23, 24-year-old guy that like the talent and skill is there. They just need someone. I feel like PBD probably has some people like this, but like they just take that skill. You see how raw that talent is, and it's like next level, and like you could mold that into something really, really great.
Well, what's the famous, is it Kobe or KD quote where it's, hard work beats talent when talent won't work hard? That whole deal?
Yeah.
So it's the combination of everything. It's like what we stand for at valuetainment, right? Like the combination of whether you put hard skills and soft skills, the value and the attainment, right? The skill and the will. These things are super important. Logic and emotion.
Yeah.
It's the combination of these things that makes you a 10.
For sure. So what's the relationship like? Like you super close at this point?
Yeah, I mean, beyond. I mean, it's like, here's how our relationship's fantastic. It's kind of like the big brother that I've never had. But more importantly, the accountability that I would always want. Like,
Doesn't let you get away with things?
No, there's no getting away with shit with PBD. He'll call you out on everything.
Yeah.
Everything. And that's good.
Yeah.
Some people don't want accountability. I like it.
You need
because
it.
my dream was, when I was a 20-year-old kid in South Beach in the nightlife world running, I said, one day I'm going to be a millionaire and living in a condo in Miami. And I was 25 years old, literally crashing on my buddy's couch at the Blue Diamond over here, broke as shit. I said, I need to make a change in my life. 35 years old, I'm a millionaire living in downtown Miami. And we know the story with the girl and all that. So I reached my dream. I went from literally crashing on an NBA player's couch,
right,
literally, to having NBA players crashing at my place. Like that full transition.
Right.
And I said, that's it, guys, I did it. I made it. This was my dream. And I meet PBD and he's like,
no fucking way.
You want to be like the guy in Miami and you want to be worth $1 million? You think that's good?
Right.
He's like, I want to take over the world. I said, well, that's a lot bigger than Miami. And he goes, and we started in 2020, we'd always say the Sheryl Sandberg quote, like, if you get an opportunity to have if you get invited on a rocket ship, don't ask what seat you're on, just get on.
Yeah.
So my invitation to the rocket ship was, all right, you're going to co-host PBD podcast. You know how many subscribers we started with? Same as you.
When? You started with zero?
2020. We started PBD podcast, 0 subscribers.
And now you're at 1.
Now we had Valuetainment. That was already a channel.
Oh.
So, that was,
You're not,
it's a little bit different.
You think?
It is had, $5 million, but that channel started with 0. Now, yes. So the thing with PBD, there's smart guys who are dicks. There's rich guys that aren't cool. There's funny guys that are broke. It's very hard to find the full dimensional character of a leader, a winner who's cool, who's nice, who has empathy, that holds you accountable, but also is understandable.
Love it.
Like, that's the thing with PBD.
I love him.
And then also the fact that he shows up and he's 6'4", and he's sort of a dominant figure. It's like, yeah, all right, that's the icing on the cake. That's the guy. So I've learned.
By the way, his interview with Bill Maher was that was businessman and negotiator versus fucking clown.
It was insane.
That was like, he just sat there.
Yeah.
That was like a Michael Jordan against a rookie. It was like,
and that's
I'm
crazy.
gonna let you make a fool of yourself right here. Like,
And Bill Maher is no rookie.
Yes.
He's been doing this for 40 years. And, when he came back from the Bill Maher interview, he goes,
oh my God.
I go, how'd it go? I'm a big Bill Maher guy. And you've seen Bill Maher call out, obviously the right forever, but he calls out the left just as much these days.
Especially now, yeah.
Which, kudos to anyone that does that speaks truth to power. So I said, what's up? How was it, dude? And he goes, not good. I go, what do you mean? And he always has a thing. He always says, well, you got to watch it. You got to see it for yourself. Always. And I'm like, give me a little, anytime he does a podcast or anything that I'm not around, he goes, well, you have to watch it. Accountability right there. So I go, just say that, let's just say it could have gone better.
Why was he upset about it though?
Who?
PBD.
No, he wasn't. He was just like, he goes, he went there I was there for him to interview me. He goes, who do you think spoke more? I don't know what he goes. Take a guess the percentage of who spoke. I go, I don't know. He goes, I spoke 10% of the time. He spoke 90% of the time. He goes, I don't know if I'll be going back anytime soon.
Oh, really?
But it was a
He
master
doesn't
class.
want to go back?
No, meaning like, I don't know if Bill Maher's going to invite him back.
Oh.
Bill Maher did not look good in that
He
interview.
looked horrific.
Yeah, it looked horrific, is my
That's
point.
not, but he can only blame himself. He spoke the whole time.
Exactly. Exactly.
That was nothing. That
Yeah.
was, I mean, as far as I'm concerned,
But, you know, this will be kind of my coup de grace with PBD. You know, they say that the ego is not the amigo. You ever heard that before?
I've heard you say it.
Okay, thanks. And, you know, there's people out there that will always come in your ear, right? They'll come in your ear too, right? Dovey. And they'll say, well, what do you need? What do you need PBD for? You can do this yourself. You know, what do you need a libel for? You know, you're a good looking guy, you're a funny guy, whatever, you can do this. But if you say, no, I'm loyal, I respect my guy, I'm not going anywhere, I'm totally cool with being number 2. I wish Scottie Pippen had that, someone give him that talk.
Well, he had it while he was the teammate.
That's my point. And then now to see someone like Scottie Pippen
Yeah,
start to say things like, yeah, I'm the greatest ever.
He said he's the greatest ever?
Yeah, we're like, nobody thinks that,
just
bro.
the Larsa Pippen left.
Jordan's the guy. And if you wanted to go around and say literally, I'm the second best basketball player ever.
Yeah, he's very
Here's
secure.
my resume, here's my credentials. There would actually be an argument for that.
Not the second best player ever. He definitely is not that. But if you want to go around and say you were the right hand of Michael Jordan during his
But my
championship
point
run,
is,
yeah.
he could at least make the argument.
Yes.
He's the second best ever. I won 6 championships. I was the right hand guy. Whatever. And Jordan would. But you're never gonna say that Scottie Pippen is the greatest player. It's never gonna happen.
Obviously you're salty, that's all.
So what I recognize is, and I believe this, I'm literally playing with the MJ of business strategy, podcast. Like that's how good people think PBD is. Like 58 years old. He's 45 years old.
Really?
Wow.
I thought he was mid-50s.
That's my point. Is that he's only
Same age.
He's 2.5 years older than me.
Wow.
So, and he's got 4 kids, and he's married, and he's a stud, and he's cool. It's like, and he came from fucking nothing.
Yeah.
He was an immigrant, a refugee from Iran. He escaped the revolution. Khomeini lived in a refugee camp in Germany, came to LA. He was a knucklehead kid, getting in fights, wanted to be a bodybuilder, went to the army because he had no future, 1.8 GPA. To see that who's the guy, and now this goes back to my 10 thing. There was nothing on PBD's resume that said that he was going to be a 10. Nothing. There's skill and there's will. The resume might say, yeah, there's never going to be there. But you don't know what's in the heart of a lion, right? So to see where he's at, I have so much respect for this guy because nothing was given to this guy. Nothing was given.
He's
Earned, not given.
It's very
That's why I
clear.
respect him.
Yeah, and by the way, it comes across, he's always been like one of my favorite people on YouTube, like really. In fact, I still remember probably a good 7-8 years ago, one of the videos that I watched from him, he says the way to create a great name for a company is to take 2 separate words and put them together. So value team is value and entertainment.
Yeah.
Combines them. So I used that for one of them, like back in the day, I created a company. I used that exact style. I never knew that. So I was already watching his stuff way back then. I've always liked him. He's really
I'm so grateful that this guy has such a big vision that it took me, who had a decent sized vision, be a cool guy in Miami and be a millionaire. Cool.
Right.
He's like,
not enough.
not enough,
Yeah,
bro.
I would definitely relate to him. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, people think I'm fucking great. I'm like, dude, like, just come along for the ride. Like, win or lose. Like, here we go.
Dream big, bro.
yeah, why not?
And you never know what you're gonna have.
First of all, 2 last quick questions. Are you voting Trump? You might have to this round.
So I'm not saying who I'm voting for because I like to keep suspense. What I'll tell you is this.
Suspense.
If you asked me in 2016 if I was going to vote for Donald Trump, I would say there's 0% chance.
Yeah.
If you asked me in 2020 if
shocked,
I was voting for Donald Trump, I would say that there's less than 0% chance.
So interesting.
If you're asking me in 2024, I would say that there is definitely a chance.
That's the weirdest thing. I got to be honest. With all of your opinions
Yeah.
with everything we've discussed here. The fact that you're so anti-Trump is a little shocking.
Which just goes to show how much things have changed in the last 5,
That's what
10
he's
years.
saying, identity politics. You should be allowed to have those views and hate Trump.
No, he could. He can have whatever the fuck. Yeah, I'm not blaming. I'm just surprised a little bit. Like, you're a guy that sees things for as they are. Trust me, I think there's many problems that Trump. I can understand why people are turned off from Donald Trump.
they're.
But my point is that he definitely. I don't know. In my opinion, he's been the one calling out this. He saw this shit that you're seeing now.
Listen,
and all scared. He saw that 8 years ago.
Here's what I will tell you. Everyone's allowed to make mistakes, and I see people shaming people. Well, you voted for Hillary, you voted for Trump, you voted for Obama, you voted for Bush. Like, there's this shaming. We're in America. It's a two-party system. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. There's a lot going on, and I think especially as Jews, if you don't recognize what's going on in politics today, and you still double down on everything you're used to, you're sort of complicit. So the likelihood that I'm voting Democrat these days is
Please do not be it. Yeah.
very, very unlikely.
By the way, one random thing I thought you maybe find interesting, and then I have a final question, and we'll wrap. But I have a close friend of mine that always tells me, when you buy real estate, you're not buying real estate, you're buying the politician. How exactly did he say it? I don't want to fuck up the line. I already did. But you're not betting on the real estate, you're betting on the politics of that city. Right? New York City, for example, when you have a good governor or whatever in place,
Or a good mayor.
Or a good mayor, whatever. Well, specifically a governor, because Cuomo was the one that signed into law major rent reform in 2019. But that killed the market, the rent stabilization, whatever, that whole business. But he's like, you're not betting on real estate, you're betting on politics. That's what happens when you buy in New York. And really, by the way, it applies to a lot of different places, but specifically in democratic cities where sometimes they'll get a good mayor or a good governor for, a term or 2 terms or whatever, but it still has a lot of blue with it, kind of like the way New York was. You're really betting on the politics, because the minute a new governor comes in that's a problem, you're screwed, because they're going to go and right?
It depends on
In
the state
America,
versus the city, though.
I'm saying, yeah. No, well,
Meaning-
yes and no. I mean,
meaning-
New York's,
The top 50 metro cities in America, every single one of them vote blue in the presidential politics. Every city.
yeah, a lot of people don't want to buy in any of those.
No,
areas.
meaning like, okay, and
It goes on the governor, no? As far as like what the actual laws that are passed with the real estate.
correct. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying as far as from the Trump situation and national politics, every city from LA, San Francisco, New York, Chicago, Nashville even, okay, Dallas, San Antonio, Houston, Atlanta, Chicago, Detroit, Minneapolis, Denver, every major city votes blue in elections.
Okay.
Presidential elections.
Fair enough. Therefore what? I'm saying, what's the therefore?
I'm making the point that every major city.
I agree with you. I was just saying as far as.
So meaning, okay, so you're talking about governors, not presidents.
But my point that I was making out is that I was just that I was really bringing out. I didn't fully get to it. I apologize. Was just that same principle with buying real estate also applies to America. The direction of when we're betting politics, we're also betting money. The person that comes into office, I don't think it's a coincidence at the end of the day that the gas was the price it was when Trump was president versus when Biden was president. I don't think it's a surprise that everything has escalated significantly price-wise. Insurance is more, cost of living is way, way up, given we have a Democrat in office right now versus when Trump was in office. There's an energy that comes with someone that's very pro-business and someone that's very, very pro. That's my personal opinion.
I agree with you, but we can't forget
no,
that there was a little thing that happened in between those two presidents called COVID.
Yeah,
so the inflation,
I agree, yeah, okay.
the price of everything,
I understand.
the supply chain.
I agree.
It was all COVID.
I agree.
Right, well, that was policy driven also, though. at the very beginning of Biden's.
But Trump printed just as much
But
money as Biden.
Okay, granted, in my opinion, the whole COVID thing was a mess. Obviously, he had to. I think he first of all would have won that second election without even a question. He would have won.
Trump would
If
be the
COVID
president
didn't
right now. We'd be in his lame duck last year of his presidency if there was no COVID.
Right, correct.
COVID was disastrous for Trump.
Yes, beyond what he lost the whole entire election. The economy went to shit. Everything flew up. You all of a sudden able to blame 1 million deaths on him.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with Biden right now, I know we're wrapping, is his Achilles heel is
He's too old.
Is beyond being old. We get that. His Achilles heel is what Trump is the greatest at, which is being a marketer.
Yeah.
Do you understand that Biden right now, the economy right now, has fantastic numbers? Unemployment is 3.5%.
Right.
Inflation is just under 3% at this point.
I mean, hold on a
stock
second.
market
He
was
fucked up
all-time highs.
The entire real estate market, in fairness, the debt market's a shit show. Like,
I'm not
straight up.
saying that
To me,
everything's
debt is
perfect,
5.7%.
but
It's
the
a mess.
stock market is at all-time highs. You know for a fact right now, if the stock market was at all-time high, the stock market's at all-time highs.
that's fair.
He'd be out there. But Biden is fucking hiding, not saying this.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
You know, inflation rate, the U.S. has recovered better than any major country in the world since COVID. Any major country. Go to any major country. We can't trust any of the data from...
There's an argument whether or not...
If you're about to say China, then we can't say
No,
China.
I'm not saying China. No,
Yeah.
I'm not. My point is just that I'm saying there's the famous thing how, of course, Biden came into office and he ended COVID and he fixed the COVID problem. I mean, that's an easy win.
I'm not even giving him credit for that.
No, my point I'm just saying is that, like, after June of 2020, every single part of COVID was a total load of shit. Beginning to end, all political bullshit. We understood by June of 2020 that if you're above 60 years old, 60 and above, that's where the real issue is. If you're below that, you're basically fine. All right? We're not going to sit there. We should not be shutting down the entire world. And it became this...
Oh, we're on the same page here,
It became this
bro.
political load of bullshit.
We're on the same page here.
Until 2028, I'm still wearing a fucking mask. They're still talking about fucking boosters.
But a lot of that has to do with governors, and this is why DeSantis became famous.
Yeah. I think
Anyway,
100%.
this summer we'll do a
Yeah,
podcast when it's
yeah.
closer to the election. I'll be in New York.
I would love to. And you're in fucking studio that
Yeah,
time.
that's
And
cool.
none of this bullshit. You met me. We're having a good time. You're coming in. And you're going to let me date. And we're going to go to dinner. Reserve Cut. Have you ever been to Reserve Cut? Of course you haven't.
In New York?
Yes.
I don't know if I've ever been there. I don't know.
Best kosher steakhouse.
Oh, then no, I've never been to a kosher steakhouse.
Yeah, well, you're going to come with me.
Okay.
We're going to go. Trust me, we're going to have a great time. Then we'll take you to Lavo. You'll go with Dovi. I'll wait outside. Yeah. Real talk. Adam, first of all, thank you so much, bro.
Thank you, bro.
I love you, man.
Respect,
Thank you.
dude.
Guys,
Dovi.
watching, very much appreciated. Adam, again, thank you. And we will have another great episode for you next week. Peace.